You guys hiring?
I don't know if you've experienced that, but what's going on, everybody? Oh, I'll go right here.
Because I'm hiring a motherfucker, man. Yo, man. Hey, how soon you think you could get me up on that cash register, man? I'm really good with cash registers, man. I got a lot of experience, if you know what I'm saying, man. I know how to open them real fast, man. That's how I scored my last job.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Where was that at?
Kmart. Women's clothing
Fucking
department
really?
section. Yeah. I'm an expert in women's clothing.
So
too.
before we made it, as podcasters, that was your last job then?
That was my last job. I still have all my Kmart aprons and all my name tags.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I work, because I want to, of course, but I just want to give back. I understand, though, if people don't want to do that, I mean, it makes sense. If I had millions of dollars, more than just the few million that we've made on this podcast, I'd probably not work, but it's expensive to live here.
I don't think I'll ever stop working at Kmart, dude. I love it there.
You doing night security now? Is that?
Does Kmart exist?
No, I don't know.
I don't think it exists anymore.
You work in the corporate and you're part of the teardown? Like you're tearing the company apart, like selling it off little by little?
Why Kmart popped into my head.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like the most full of shit thing to say when it comes to a store.
The most unbelievable thing I could say. Speaking of unbelievable, God, the stories cops give for blowing people away these days. They're so unbelievable. And they just get more and more unconvincing. And it's
which one's your favorite?
Oh my God, which one's my favorite? That's fucked up. That's fucked up to say that.
But it is. Which one, though, I guess, should I say, is the most for sure not realistic in any way, shape, or form? The aliens?
What?
The aliens? That the aliens possessed them, or the aliens?
Oh, that'd be their story.
Yeah,
that'd be their story. So I saw a comic on the Nib, right? It's a comic thing I followed this morning. It was a play on what just happened last week, and it was like, yeah, so this guy died because this cop was waterboarding him, but he didn't die from waterboarding. He actually ate a jacked up sausage McMuffin that morning. You know what I mean? And his heart was fucked up, and like that's exactly how the case sounded last week. Didn't it? Yeah. It's like, dude, seriously, like this is not compelling.
We've known from studies for years that the consumption of the sausage patty from McDonald's does cause a high cholesterol.
The rationalizations just get more and more unbelievable each time, and it's a system that has been fucked up for a really fucking long time.
Well, they let funny lawyer fuck faces, like even in the game. We let people become just creative animals, and it's just silly.
I was thinking about something the other day. It's about the word pig. Mm-hmm. The word pig that's used to describe cops.
Right.
So when you're a kid, you're a bully, let's say in school, which I was. Not like I wasn't like a full. I fucking have fucking regrets and shit. But I mean, I was a dick. At certain points of time. But like when you call someone a pig in school, it refers to the physical feature of a pig. That a pig is large, so that's bad, and you're a pig, and pigs eat lots of food.
That's what I was going to say. It's a consumption concept.
Consumption. But when we talk about cops, the word pig is not describing a physical feature. We have skinny cops.
Oh, sure.
We have small cops.
Mostly buff cops.
So what's interesting is
a lot of buff cops.
Right. So the more I thought about this and had some conversations about it and looked it up a little bit, it makes a lot more sense. The word pig that's used to describe the police comes from the behavior of that animal, not its physical features. Sure. So when you think of a pig, what word comes to mind? Seriously, no, just right. First word pops in your mind. Dirty. Disgusting. Right. Is see what I mean? And that's where it came from. Sure. Is a policeman's behavior is described as disgusting, which makes them a pig. because a pig is disgusting. So
Well,
it's just I just wanted to say that because I thought that was interesting.
Well, and I almost think too is like it's not necessarily like like where it came from as much as what perpetuates it. Like something has to be true for generationally to stick. Like something like that has stuck.
It's stuck. Yeah,
like things stick like for
okay, there's
forever.
some
And,
truth. I
like
see what you're
good or
saying.
bad.
Yeah.
Like let's
Right.
take good or bad out because it's a fuck comedy show and blah blah blah. Good or bad, but there are things that have
So
stuck for a long
funny.
time because of just the phonetic of it, like the way it sounds, the poetics. Some words have stuck around a long time, like douche. It just rolls off the tongue, like it doesn't even nobody gives a shit what it means. Like it's there's lots of slang stuff that's just become animalistic, and like I think
Sure. And I wasn't mentioning that to talk about the word. I was talking about
me
the
either.
behavior of police,
But I mean
right?
is though,
but still,
right,
yeah,
I'm
it's
saying the idea
interesting.
that it continues on is because it fits so many times over. Like I say, stereotypes unfortunately become stereotypes because like they're like cliches, like they have to be true like a lot of times before they're believable. They don't make sense if they're not somewhat true.
Absolutely.
So what we're talking about is what creates the stereotype, like the structure, maybe.
Its origins.
That's what it is that we don't like about it. But the stereotype is actually just like somebody's like account of a behavior that's being repeated.
But yeah, and see, that's another thing is I don't,
Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
That's not-
That's really not. You know what I mean? And so, like, what I'm saying is in order for them to keep that name for, like I'm thinking like the 60s or something, right? It's like a Manson. I think a Manson era pigs, like Charlie.
Mhm. Like Charlie.
Yeah, but like I think of that time frame, but then I think of like it's kept life. You know what I mean? Like it could have turned into like say something like people could have started calling them wolves, right? But they're not really cunning.
Every time.
Yeah. Hey, what up, Mark? What up, Rick?
No, he says he can't hear anything.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, barely hear us. Yeah, just turn it up.
Just turn it up.
Yeah.
It's up all the way.
No, it doesn't need to go up all the way. It's just a little bit. We'll figure it out.
How's that sound? Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter anymore. Just anyway, the behavior is where the name comes from, and that's why I thought that was interesting. Because, yeah, it's not a physical feature. It basically starts with somebody saying, "Look at what that police officer's doing. That's disgusting." And then you'd say, "What a pig."
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But generationally. And so think about the fact that like every generation had to like kind of go, oh yeah, okay, I heard like from this movie that they're called pigs and blah, blah, blah. And then they had to encounter something where they were like, yeah, fucking goddamn right, they were pigs. You see what I mean? Like so they had to live up to that name like over and over and over.
Oh fuck yeah! This shit doesn't happen overnight. You don't just fucking wake up one day and be like, okay, I hate these people.
Yeah,
like that doesn't work like that. It comes from personal experience.
Rock stars die from drugs, right? I mean, like, but the reason we know that is because it happened a fucking bunch of times. It's the fact that like we're having a conversation. This is like comedy, right? But like it's been a long time. I don't know who started comedy, where all you do is talk about like obvious shit. But there's a lot of people go, I didn't think of that. So that made me think like, well, how many people aren't thinking of this really obvious shit like that? Like, maybe it's like you're a little kid, man, and you see cops, you're like, they're pretty cool. Probably even thought maybe you wanted to be one. Maybe some kids like them, But then like, sure enough, soon enough, you see something that happens where you're like, fuck that.
It's time after time after time after time again. That's what I mean. It just never ends.
Well, and then when you come to the the racial component, the difference between just like you getting followed and me getting like fucking pulled over for having a dirty license plate, and then they just get shot. Like, so that's the difference. That's why it's racial.
Fuck.
First, like right off the bat, they're just doing dumb shit to make money. And then on top of that, in some places, they're like, it's like warfare and I don't know what's going on. Like, it's just a mix of every bad thing that could happen. Just a bunch of people that are just
So you want to hear what you want to hear something?
Rocks.
You want to hear something? I got some actual thoughts on this. I actually have some thoughts on this. I have some solutions. So here's a solution.
nice.
Here's a fucking solution. You talk about defunding police, whatever, reallocating, right, funds somewhere where it will be more effective and help the community, right? So what if we allocated some funds to an agency that helps the public fight back against the police? So the next time you get harassed, you can go to this agency and you can give them a badge number, and then they can go after that department. Now they might get money, but even if they don't, they'll create a problem for the police, just like they do for the public. Sure. That way the public will have a weapon to fight back. Here's another thing. I think the public should be able to physically defend themselves against the police with no repercussions. This agency would also handle that. So if you're the fucking knife-wielding, naked, tattooed face guy, they can make their decision. If you're the guy who's gone his way home from work and got harassed and physically assaulted by the police, then you know what I mean? Then you have a case where like, no charges filed. He was defending himself against a fucking piece of shit who was attacking him. And as soon as you start attacking the public, your badge means nothing. That's how it should be. And that's what this agency would help with.
I think plus we're like, to me, like, again, like I just got a way of looking at some things. Like I can see doing all this like a lot earlier. Like way back in the thing, which is like, so like I'm in a trauma informed job. Like I work around people who have to be trauma informed, right? Like that's just the whole idea is that you're, like if you're in an environment where people might be in a mood at any given moment that might, like, so, there's just a way to act in that environment. And some people like make it and some people don't because they just really can't like get used to that mood, of not like, yelling out shit all the, every once in a while or whatever. Like you just get zero of those. You just have to have that together, that mood together. And I just don't understand why we tolerate just the attitude, because it isn't actually helpful and it doesn't actually work even against hardcore criminals. And
you're talking about like the provocative language and shit of the police. Yeah. Because the attitude, the attitude, it's a provocation. They provoke because they want to escalate and create a problem.
Hold on. It's a philosophy that's just wrong, which is intimidating people so what it does is it makes criminals, which makes money.
Exactly.
So they're doing a psych trick, and it's clear.
No, you just fucking hit the nail.
It's really easy. It's like really easy. It's just a psych trick that you do. You provoke people to make crime.
Exactly.
Like so,
to confess, or to create a problem, so you can take it, so you can escalate it and take it one step further. Like, what did you mean by that language? And the cop knows what the language meant. The guy was defending himself against a provocation. But now,
it's the training.
Goddamn pigs.
The training. When people say
that's disgusting behavior.
So the reason why the language about the defunding or all the get rid of them stuff really has
get rid of them. That's not what it means.
I'm saying, hold on, let me explain what I mean. So what happens is when you say like they need more training, you start to realize like you're saying like no, they need none of the training they get and different training. Like. You see what I mean?
Right.
So that's why it becomes like defund, because they're saying cut off the contracts with the private companies that teach you how to be a prick, like with ex-military companies and things like that. They're like teaching you how to be further into being more of a cocksucker. And that doesn't help anyone, and definitely not people who are committing crime, really.
Right, because
like,
public servants and military,
even hardcore crime,
different things.
Unless it's like conspiratorial or gang-related or something that's larger. We're talking about groups of people. You got like a different kind of thing for that. And I think that should just be like an FBI type of thing or something, right? Like we don't need regular motherfuckers with like GEDs and shit fucking with shit like that. So what we're really talking about is like APB, call some people out. And I've heard all kinds of people making fun of social workers and whatever. Like what the fuck, man? People apply for work however it works. So there's POs that are, there's POs, there's fucking teachers, there's all kinds of people in the mix, right? Doctors, and some of them lift weights and some of them don't. Some of them are in shape, some aren't. It really doesn't have anything to do with it. Some people have pistols, some people don't. Some people work in hands-off facilities, some people work in hands-on. But like people don't really have any fucking clue about any of that shit, right? So when they talk about social workers doing shit, I don't even know what that means. That could be like POs and like like parole people and all kinds of different people. I don't know who the fuck that could be. It's an entire workforce of people that you just haven't even trained yet. But it sure the fuck ain't a GD cocksucking dipshit fucking, I just want to get in there and fucking get a tight shave and a fucking pistol. You know, like I don't have any idea why anyone in the public would want that at any time.
So I think the what I would say to that is you're going to get it no matter what. Right?
No.
So no, I mean, to some extent, to some degree, you're going to have that dude in your police force.
Oh no, but I mean, you just have to have it's all trauma informed.
Well,
if it's trauma informed, you don't get to yell at people.
So what I was saying is,
you don't. How could you escalate?
Okay,
how could it even go any further if you don't already get to yell at anyone?
But see, my suggestion is let the police go about their business as usual, and let us develop new agencies
to just militias.
Hold on. Let us develop new agencies.
They're legal.
What is? What do you mean?
Militias?
Well, not malicious. No, I'm saying let the police do what they do. They've already made it crystal clear that the system cannot be reformed. Let them carry out business as usual, and let's arm the public with new weapons to fight back against corrupt police. So they're held accountable by new agencies, new federal agencies, where, like I said, like you get pulled over and fucked with, just fucked with. And you can go in there, just like me, just an average citizen, tax-paying, regular dude. He's like, you know what? This guy wasted my time. I felt like he was provoking me. Right. This is what happened, and I want to do something about it. And that agency can say, we're going to notify them, and there's fines for it. You can go after them.
Oh, I'm for both.
Then the next time a cop physically fucks with some drunk dude outside the bar, the guy can sober up and be like, hey, we're coming after your department, and this agency is going to do it. And guess what? You never win.
What I'm saying,
they never win civil suits either. Fucking.
Well, what I'm saying, your idea would create my world, because that would wouldn't that just eventually make people have to act right?
Yes, you're right. Yes, it absolutely would. Yeah, because so that dumbass redneck cop you just said, you'd be like, I want to fuck people up. Then they'd be like, yeah, well, if you do that, you might get fined. You might go to jail.
But you might end up just working around instead of Mr. Longhair, and it's boring, man, because I'm trying to hit golf balls in the hallway and chill the fuck out. And like, people don't like that, dude. That want to be all jacked up on people.
Instead of the blue wall, is what I mean.
I'm just saying, like, there's very few people out in the streets anywhere, really, even in the hardcore places, that really need jacked up. It's a pretty small amount. I feel like we could have like a specific group of people that are only made for jacking people up that need jacked up. Because I can agree, there's some people in our culture that needs a smackdown because they're doing some fucked up shit, and we need somebody to do that. But then the rest of people driving around and shit, we can get cameras for that.
That's what I'm saying. The
citizens can just turn each other in. Like when somebody's speeding, why don't people just take a picture of the car and
right?
You know what I mean? Like we can do that. We don't need people for that.
Exactly. So that's what I was just saying.
I don't see what the big deal is.
It would be
you can prove someone was going like 90 miles an hour. Like we just need the technology for it. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be. I'm with you though. Like as far as like how to get there, like how would you get there? As far as like like what kind of systems can you put into place that would actually create like change relatively immediately? Would be to have some kind of a city, because it'd have to be like it'd have to be like certain city or county type of group of people who just like created to make sure that the laws were being followed by the different agencies. It's like an audit.
It would be like a private business middleman. Well, that's why I say it, because it would be
probably true.
It could be a growth industry. Like when you're talking about cities like Chicago, which are rumored to pay out like 4 times their annual budget in civil suits.
Right.
But they can't, they don't have to disclose this to the fucking public.
Right.
Just so you know, if you're watching this, they don't have to disclose how much they dump on civil suits. No police department does. So for all we know, like you're talking about wasting money. We already know, because Chicago's already come out and they've already admitted it.
Right.
That they've paid out 4 times their fucking annual budget in civil suits.
Right.
So what I see is a marketplace, man. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what this agency would be, though. It would be probably federally funded, kind of like a liquor store. Like you can buy it, you know what I mean? Privately, you can run it in your town, Well, and you can make some money off it, right?
But I think we simultaneously need to empty out the prisons of like drug offenders too.
Yeah, absolutely. But
there's room. I mean, I'm just saying, because like in the end, like I said, I can't help.
That's a totally different subject.
Well, I start running down a path.
I'm talking about police misconduct.
I know, but I'm saying if there's a lot of imagine this agency goes into play, and then they start busting cops, and then they also start busting more people who are working with cops, because there's probably just layers of bullshit everywhere.
Well, they'd have to fuck up.
But they start finding this out, though, right? And so then it's just like more people in prison. Like, so it's like, in my mind, I'm thinking we really have to get off of a certain type of crime and like
you don't
and
have
make
to
it non-imprisoned.
This isn't about
different. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but
if
this
we
agency's
separate
not
those two. That'll help with understanding what cops do wrong.
right.
Because right now we're like some kind of moral police, and like we have a kind of a moral military, and then we have some factual military and some factual police.
This wouldn't
And like right now, like
dude.
I'm just saying, drug laws are moral, and I'm saying if we can get to how do we want police to act, we have to. They have a hard job in a way sometimes because they're like dealing with like some weird capitalist thing that has nothing really to do with. It's like drugs are some kind of either addiction issue, mental illness. Like how many times do cops involve themselves with drug stuff that really doesn't have anything to do with anything? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so I'm just saying like that really it would keep cops a lot of times from getting in trouble because they're just complete nimrods and they show up
Yeah,
some
they're
guys
putting themselves
tripping
in
out
situations.
on Special K and they don't even know what it is.
No,
so they're like,
right.
come on, he's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
he's
It's
crazy.
like,
We
oh
gotta
my
shoot
God,
him.
come
Maybe
the fuck on,
right.
man. You know, and like if a regular person was around there, and I
So-
said regular, like a real normal motherfucker would just know to be normal, man.
Right. And
Like they're abnormally fucked up people a lot of times.
So back to my mythical agency. You don't have to lock up cops. It would be more of, like I said, more about just like you'd mentioned. It's I want to say it's striking some fear into the police. So when they know and they go out and they're about to do some fucked up shit, they know, hey, my buddy did this and he got fined $20,000. We don't have to put him in jail. We want to make fucking money off of him, man. Just like they make money off the public. Do you see what I mean? That's what I'm saying about this agency that I'm dreaming up. It's a way to keep them in check and make fucking money off them, and the most important, create a hassle in their lives, just like they do for the fucking public that they're sworn to protect.
I'm always for that.
That means me, regular old dudes who they give a fucking hard time for no reason other than they're just, dude. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you a fucking story really quick. Think back. You're from this town, okay? I was at a party. I won't say when, man, but I was in a party years ago. Everybody's doing coke, fucking cocaine everywhere. Nobody at this party like is even 20 years old, right?
Sure.
In your town too, up in Odell.
Sure. No, I want Parkdale, but yeah.
Right.
I'm with you.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Right off 35. Right off 35.
Before.
So fucking cops raid this party. This is in Hood River.
Yeah.
Cops show up on private property because they saw a party. Right. And they're going to bust all these people for partying on private property, which they can't even do. But cops know that kids don't know that because cops are pigs. So my point is this, and I'll wrap it up quick, is a couple guys got popped that night for coke.
Sure.
And like you said earlier, they were felons from that day forward.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of us who did blow that night went on to be productive members of society with families and jobs and careers. And we don't do coke. That was something you do when you're a kid. Right. So what I'm saying is that's what those police were doing. They're out ruining lives.
Yeah.
They're ruining their own communities.
Yeah.
Just because they're selfish pigs. They're disgusting pigs.
Well, they're just
that's the kind of behavior I'm talking about.
Right.
That when a cops go and bust a party like that, that the party can be like, these motherfuckers were trespassing. I want to fucking press charges. I want to fine them. And the cops individually get fined, just like the citizens do. It's just a weapon against their bullshit.
Well, people that can't afford that. I have been at a party where the parents of the place that lived there, it was a high school party, and the cops showed up, and the parents walked out the door and told them to fucking leave, and they did. Because they had money.
Right. And there was somebody there who knew what they could do.
I've been in the backseat of a car full of everybody in the car on the football team and been pulled over in downtown Hood River in high school, everyone drinking, everyone in the car and drunk. And the guy said, I don't want anybody to get in trouble to play football. And we drove away.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, man, what the fuck? I sat in my house, 20 years old, and the cop walked in the house and sat on the couch next to us. He said, what's up, guys? Like, didn't give a fuck.
That sounds like a cop.
Didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then it went all the way to like a month ago when I'm driving and I get pulled over because my license plate is dirty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're still doing it. They're still scumbags. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know, man. Like, I can't believe it. I sometimes can't fucking believe that it's true.
I know.
It's weird. It's like I know a lot of guys that are cops that are super cool and like it's clearly that not every cop's a piece of shit. plenty of them are great guys. I do literally know several that I think are just absolutely fine. I have nothing bad to say about them. But then there's just constantly all this crazy shit that happens where I'm like, what are you fucking kidding me? And so I have to put the two things together. It is what it is. Like, I mean, it's just, it's unfortunate that even if I would want to be a cop, I just couldn't do it. The same reason why, even if I believed in God, I still couldn't go to church. There's too many fucking embarrassing people there. I can't connect myself with. Like, I can't, there's God, you got to draw a line. Some people are just too ridiculous to be connected to. It's as simple as that. Every person needs to have enough dignity and enough standards in life to, at least for crying out loud, stand up for something, you know?
Well, like I said, if the system can't be reformed, we need to fucking make a system that fights back against that system.
Something. Because
that's what I think.
I can't believe the good people can't figure out there's a lot of crooked, my dirty license plate? Like, really?
Dude, that's nothing.
Who would stand? I know, but
we could tell stories all day about arbitrary traffic stops.
I'm thinking about the dumbest thing I can come up with because I've already been pulled over for having a little bit of a bent license plate.
True.
So now I had a little bit of a bent license plate 20 years ago, and now I just got recently pulled over by literally like a 16-year-old state cop.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like. And I mean, like, man.
Yeah, that's what
we were nice. He was nice. I gave him my stuff. I went home. It was no big deal, but like, come on.
I told you, man. I told you I got pulled over with James. I told you this. A sheriff pulled us over, and he said because his tags were going to expire. That's not something you pull someone over for on a major highway. I
just don't understand.
It's because he was a dumb pig and he profiled us. See, look at that. You know what that is? You know what that kind of behavior is?
Why?
That's fucking predatory.
Quit.
That's predatory.
Quit fucking with people, man. Quit. People, quit fucking with people.
Fucking dumb ass pigs. Fucking with regular fucking
We all got to
people.
do our jobs. I don't like some of the stuff I got to do at work. I don't like. I got to do it anyways. Because the other shit's not okay. It's not okay to do to people.
So check this out. Check this out, Roman. So, no, check this out. This is great because I actually wanted to talk about this. So, you know how you can recognize the color of money? A dollar bill has a very distinct...
Yeah, weird, huh?
It's got a very distinct shade of green. It could be... That dollar bill could be in the jungle.
Right.
And you'll still know it's a dollar bill. It's just got that right shade of green, and your brain knows exactly what it looks like.
Huh.
A cop thinks that way about crime, except they see dollar bills everywhere where there are none because they want to see it. Right. It's all they see. That's what they're hoping to see. Just like if you were looking for a dollar bill, you would just, is that a dollar? Is that a dollar? Is that a dollar? So to a cop, it's like, no, something's wrong here. I know this guy's a criminal. I know this guy's a criminal. There's something wrong. There's got to be a crime. There's got to be a crime. And then in their minds, they're like, shit, there's nothing here. I got to make something here. I'm going to provoke this guy. I'm going to see if I can push his buttons a little bit. And then when he snaps back at me, I'm going to say, hey, man, you don't get smart with me. I love it when they say that because I always say back, there's no other way I could be with you. with cops, they're always holding a 6 high and I'm always holding a royal flush. And they know it. They know it. Because if you're a cop and you've got me pulled over, you fucked up. Straight the fuck up. I already know. If I see your red and blues, I'm like, well, we got a doozy here.
Right.
You know what I mean? We got a live one. This guy's dumber than a bag of fucking rocks, and I'm gonna play him like a fiddle. I'm gonna make him fucking bark like a dog and hop on one fucking leg because they're so easy to manipulate because they're so fucking predictable. Back to the dollar bill though, Roman, because that's what I mean. Like that's all they think about. They're like one-track mind. Everyone's a criminal. Everything's a crime. Everything's a bust. That's just all they see. It's like it's like fucking tunnel vision. So when you know that about them, you're like, oh my god, they're literally like a robot. Like you can just push a button and get them to do whatever the fuck you want them to do because they're just so easily manipulated. You can manipulate the shit out of them. They're so fucking predictable and dumb. They're trained to do one thing. And guess what? If you're a cop, I know that because my family were cops. Right. You can't hide from me, man. My grandpa was a cop. My mom was a cop. My aunt was a cop. I know what the fuck they go through. I know what their training's like. They're trained to see one thing and do one fucking thing. So if you're getting harassed, remember that. Remember that. Because they're license and registration. It's like, here you go, officer. Is there anything else I can do for you tonight? You look uncomfortable in that uniform. You look a little sweaty. You feeling all right? Eat a steak tonight or something? What's that supposed to mean? Whoa, man. Hey, is anything I can do for you, officer? Yeah. You just act overly nice. And then when they start to harass you, you're like, civil suit's coming.
Well, I just say things like,
Getting some payday.
I just say, or you could just say something like, oh, fuck, that's right. It's Saturday night and you're at work. I'm going to go home. Have a good night.
I've had cops get annoyed with me. And the last cop that I said that to, you said you got pulled over by a young stater.
Yeah.
So I've been pulled over by the last 2 times I got pulled over by staters right in front of my house in Bingen. And God, he looked 16.
That's
like I didn't know how to talk to him.
Scares
like,
me is that
what can I do for you, son?
Well, nobody, and let's just be real. Nobody's got the stomach to be a fucked up dude like that, right? I mean, like the people who want to do that are real fucked up, and then there's a bunch of people who are trying to be good ones, and they get in there and they're like, "Oh, this is what it is." Like we got to go to meetings about like everybody's potentially gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
Like wait a minute, no, statistically, no, not at all. Why are you saying that?
And then you shouldn't even have pulled the guy over in the first place. Because now,
but wait a minute, I'm supposed to like. So you want me to hold two things in my head at once? One, a statistical non-truth, and you also want me to put my life and soul behind something that's just not flat out true.
Right.
Like that's fucking pathetic. That's just car wrecks kill people far more than any of the rest of the stupid bullshit people talk about.
And that's a great
why can't they just do that? There's fucking cocksuckers allow people to die. Everybody that dies on the freeway is because of cops. They're fucking culpable for that because they don't do anything to people who speed down the freeway. Like clearly they don't give a flying fuck about that. And that's really the only reason I don't like getting pulled over for my fucking dirty license plate. Because you're just looking for a fucking Friday night Dewey at 10:30.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and you're fucking with people.
It's like a product, so you're just fucking with the community.
And there's no way for me to like put it. Yeah. I can't even put that sticker on my car that says, "I don't even drink, man. Leave me the fuck alone." And I don't drink because you ruined my fun.
There's a kid.
You ruined my fun. I quit only because I can't even smell like beer without having to walk around my car because I've done sound here for so long. And they keep fucking with me.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
like because they're scum.
Why?
Because they're scum. They're literal scum.
And it's always different people, and they don't communicate in any way, shape, or form. So there's nobody could ever like be like, "Oh man, that guy again."
Right. Well, the cops here change all the time, probably because they get kicked off because they suck so bad.
It just sucks.
Yeah, they just suck big old donkey
balls.
balls.
It sucks to fuck with people.
Yeah.
Like,
so
you know what I mean? Like the kind of people that have to drive around and just pull people over for license plates being dirty. Like somehow that means somebody told them either that was okay or to just go pull over every single fucking car you can between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. for anything you could make up.
So I can tell you right now. Like
it's one of those two things.
Well, I just got done saying I had fucking family were cops. I can tell you right now, he was on his own. He was acting alone. He profiled you. He thought he's like, okay, this guy, this car, this whole situation here, it looks suspicious. He's playing fucking Columbo,
right?
Straight the fuck up. And what he found was you. That's what happened. It's funny because we're talking about a child here playing Columbo, right. And with me, it was the fucking sheriff of Redmond. Like it doesn't matter what rank you are. If you're a cop, you still fucking got bad judgment. Well, like no matter how long you've been on the force, you're still pulling over the wrong people.
Well, the other guy was wrong 85 times for every one time he was right, and he's like, "Man, I busted 800 people." It's like over like 40 years. Like, good job, dude. Like, I hope so.
It's like his community is a product.
Well, it's just a.
And the units are the citizens, the public.
Well, then you got to throw in the idea that like when you are the person that would fuck with someone for doing something wrong, how much human impulse makes you just decide like you can do stuff wrong? Like, why do we think that certain people could ever possess that much mental strength to not give in to that? Like, how could that, it's like saying you'd be okay with like $10 million, like you'd live through it. It's like, I mean, can I for surely say that much money wouldn't hit my life so hard that like I would fuck something up? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping so, right? But when you give somebody like, oh, you will never get in trouble for what you're going to do. Like, we watch court case after court case after court case. You will never have to pay for what you do. And here's a pistol. And now go tell everybody, like, hey, what the fuck? What's going on around here? You know what I mean? Like, and act like that. Like, everywhere you go all the time, just put that shit out there everywhere you go. And, like, let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Like, what kind of dark shit? Like, who's making that up? Like, what kind of dark ass shit is that? Like, how is that any way to run a culture? And why would you do that to people? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't equate to anything.
It doesn't build a better community.
But even worse, I never even really heard my argument before.
It doesn't build a better community.
But I'm saying I'm like the $0 kind of guy, right? Like, my ideas never really make anyone money. So when I watch the news and I see people coming up with new ideas, I always say like, oh yeah, but there's money in that idea. Like, it's always tainted with something. People just don't need to be mean to each other. There's no science behind it working. Not at work for your boss. It doesn't get profits up. It doesn't make anything. It's not a better way to coach
exactly.
people.
You're fucking exactly right.
It's not. It's scientifically proven. Nobody likes it.
Nobody likes
Quit
it.
being fucking rude.
Fucking stop right there. Fucking stop right there.
Quit being
Because
mean.
what you just said just hit the fucking nail on the head. Nobody likes it. If you took a fucking random right now, if every single American was asked, how do you feel about the police? Anonymously, everybody would say they fucking hate cops. Cops would say they hate cops.
Right.
Anyone who told you they love cops anonymously would say they fucking hate cops.
Well, I can tell you.
You just said that though. Like, everybody doesn't like it. It's negative. Stop fucking with the community.
Yeah, they don't like it. We don't like it, but we don't like it in any form. People don't like it. That's why firemen don't do it. People don't do it.
Seriously.
They don't do that. Paramedics don't do that. Fucking, it's not a better way to do your job. I don't understand.
Yeah, seriously, that kind of
better way. It doesn't make more money, even really. To be honest, I bet you get more tickets.
You probably
Because,
lose money
you know,
too in civil suits. Is what?
Well, you definitely get. You would not have civil suits
when
anymore.
you pull that wrong fucking trigger.
Because, hold on though, if they had a really good reputation, they would actually win in court almost every time. So the reason they lose is because of their reputation. So again, it's not beneficial. Like, honestly, man, look. The hippy dippy idea of everything, it doesn't mean people don't work. The hippy dippy idea that everybody, fucking, you can't do them hippies. What do they know about? Look, just be nice to people. In every single industry,
it's a fucking well-oiled machine. It's a well-oiled machine too.
And when you oil a machine, the nice way, it runs better.
It runs smooth and runs longer. It's more sustainable. Everything's better.
There's nothing better.
Everybody rests easy too because the machine's running well.
Fucking not better. Not better without smoothness.
And see, you know what the difference is?
Better.
You know what the difference is too? Like the difference is this. It's the cop, like I just said, like the cops who raid the high school party and bust the kid who just tried cocaine for the first time, slap him with a felony and ruin his fucking life. Versus the cop who shows up and says, you know, hey, Timmy, you don't want to do this with your life.
Right.
That cop's making his community better. The other cop's feeding his own fucking ridiculously fragile fucking narcissistic ego. Mm-hmm. Just like trying to fulfill some sense of superiority or something.
Oh, yeah,
it's fucking disgusting. And disgusting describes a pig.
Oh, it's culty. It's culty too. It's like, it's very odd because, like I said, it's not allowed.
Talking about
it's not really allowed anywhere else. It's not really allowed anywhere else.
Dude, we can have a whole podcast about cops.
Doesn't everybody have the same basic like OSHA standards though of like how you treat people? Like how do anyone get away?
Seriously,
until there's been until a real crime has been committed. How does anybody really? How did we slip off into this world where everybody's even talking about anyone ever being a prick in public ever, no matter what? When is that allowed? Why are there people walking around with?
There's like a taboo where you're not supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to talk shit about cops. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to say
cops. It's just people being mean all the
time. Yeah.
Why? But I'm just saying, cops, yes.
No, you're right.
But they're setting a really bad example because they are the ones generally with the pistols.
That's what I was going to say. The cops are the ones out pushing. They're pushing their assholes on you.
Absolutely nothing with quickly drawing your gun out and firing on somebody. Like it has nothing to do. In fact, it makes you better at shooting. It's just this. It's completely stupid. And some fucking dildo that would support like. Oh, come on, Roman, you're being naive. I could just hear the fucking dumb arguments like bouncing off my head. Like, right. It's like when somebody tries to pretend like the military is the baddest motherfuckers. And I'm like, yeah, except the NFL players didn't join. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, except for all the boxers in the entire country decided, nah, I'm going to box. And like, oh yeah, I don't want any of the pro athletes really at all.
They're robots.
They're not at all giant.
I want to say like
no, but I'm just saying. You don't think LeBron James would be able to make it through the Marine training?
I think I don't know. But what's interesting is, I mean, I think there's like a little more. you have a little more leverage of I'm trying to find the right word. You have a little more free thinking when you're an athlete. Like you still have an assignment, but like you still have a little wiggle. You still have a little wiggle room. If you're a defensive lineman and you get a little wiggle room, you fucking get the ball in your hand for some reason. You can improvise.
Oh,
is what I'm saying. But if you're a soldier, you cannot. You are a unit. You are one of the unit. And
I don't know. I understand where you're coming. I get what you're saying, but I don't mean it in a sense that like anybody wants to or anybody would do that. The programming aspect of the military means nothing to me. Individual people can defend as a military without brainwashing or anything. It makes no sense. Like you should never be a military that makes decisions that has to kill people that don't deserve to die. So why would you have to make a military that has people that have to make those kinds of irrational decisions? It just doesn't make sense. Like you shouldn't have to talk someone into that. Like, why is warfare done on that level? It has no reason to, you know? So like in my mind, like I'm actually talking about who are the baddest motherfuckers. And I'm saying there's like 200 and something Division I NFL teams with 50 men on each roster. And then there's like another 200 some Division II and like 3. And I mean like, that's thousands of fucking people that are entirely more strong, fast, can jump higher, run, and could all be trained much like so. I'm just saying the argument is we're not even really talking about making the toughest people the actual people who fight. So the whole game of giving them 80% of the budget is so stupid in so many ways that like you just give a bunch of money to a bunch of fucking fools mostly. You know what I mean? Like the dredge of your fucking society. Not your greats.
That is way more complex.
Well, but then the spin-offs into the cops. And so now everybody's afraid of all those people because they're all the ones that'll fuck you up for the most pettiest shit. Well, no shit they would be. They're the dumbest ones of the fucking bunch. And then, of course, they have to have managers. And, of course, there's small towns, anomalies with a bunch of, like, you know, fucking Andy Griffith type cops that are, of course, great guys. They're barely cops. There's barely anything to do. Like
no, you're right.
Chase my homeless cousin out of somebody's parking lot or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying that's not really what we're talking about.
I've got to believe that fucking
danger.
Like, oh God.
You know what I'm saying?
I almost think like cops have got to be the fucking like literally the dumbest members of any community.
Well, it's just dumb because I knew some great cops.
Intellectually. Intellectually. They got to be the dumbest motherfuckers in any community.
Did you ever know, was it Dave Thompson? Yeah, you know, just Daniel and
Jason Thompson?
Jason's dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was the sheriff. Wasn't he?
He was like, well, he wasn't the sheriff, or maybe, I don't know, but he was a cop, right? And he was the soccer coach and shit. He was a cool motherfucker.
Oh, okay. Fuck yeah.
Like, he was super cool, man. He was like, hey, man, you know, like, I was at a party one time where this dude got pulled over, you know, in like front of the party. And we came out of the party and shit. And like, I was 21 and everything, but everybody was like, frying ball. I mean, people were on drugs. I mean, it was like everybody's doing whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like not provoking anyone or being weird or anything. He was being super chill and laughing with everybody and kind of like just being cool, man. Like he wasn't there for us, you know? Mm-hmm. And like they actually just looked at the dude's shit and they let him go, dude. And he just stopped his car and walked into the party. Like it was not a big deal, man. Like, and I mean, like I said, I know there's lots of guys like Donnie Shaley. Like he's a really chill dude around town here. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just a nice guy. He's the same dude I remember. He's like my brother's high school class. Same dude.
We're going to tell nice cop stories now?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Like, a lot of those guys are great fucking guys, dude. I know. I've known lots of guys, you know, that were like absolutely fucking funny and sweet. Officer Moore, he's been retired a long time. When we were kids, though, one time me and Jeff were walking on the side of the road, and he pulls up to the side of us, and we thought we were in trouble because we saw this cop whipping around, and we're like, oh, what the fuck did we do, you know? And he pulls over and he goes, holy cow, did you see the cans on that woman that just drove by or something? Like, you know, and it was like one of our buddies' dads, you know, and
that's awesome.
Just talking shit and like just making a joke. And then I also had
cans.
Yeah, like I think that's the word. I was thinking it was like some old schooler word, you know, like, but it was really fucking hilarious because we were like, holy shit, dude, he was just talking about that chick's boobs. We laughed, you know. Of course, it's fucking hilarious, man. We also were at the fucking fair one time, and Jeff had a curfew of like 9 p.m. and it was like 7. And this cop walked up to him. We were kids, man. And he's like, hey, you fucking piece of shit. You go home now. You're on curfew or some dark shit, man.
Yeah.
Like dark, cruel, fucking cruel, mean
Mhm.
shit, dude. I was standing there, heard it with my own fucking ears, dude. What the fuck? You know, I'm not lying. Like the damn shit hurt my feelings. It like scared me. Like for no fucking reason, man. I was a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Bullshit, dude.
So I used to get, I told you I got busted every day. The cops would take my skateboard. They'd write me a trespassing ticket. I had so many trespassing tickets, dude. Like I wore them on the wall. Like I put them up like with my flyers and shit.
Right.
My aunt was the police chief and communications director, sworn police chief and communications director at City Hall. So she would give me my skateboard back every time the cops would take my skateboard. Right. That's what the cops did to me, though. That was my youth of getting to know my local police. These are the cops who every single day, dude, I'm telling you, I got surrounded by 5 cop cars in a grocery store in Lake Oswego. And dude, 5 cop, I'm like 14 years old, surround me. This isn't the first time. This happened to me like 4 or 5 times. Seriously. These same cops. And I'm like 14 years old. And they said that day, it was for jaywalking. Straight the fuck up. That's what, in public too. Like, you know what I mean? Right in the grocery store. Bam, all these cops. That's what your taxpayer money's going to. They're fucking surrounding a 14-year-old kid for jaywalking.
They're just shutting people down.
And then
man.
they took my skateboard again. And the cop said this. He said this to me. He's like, I'm going to fucking take you down, Nick. One of these days, I'm going to fucking take you down.
It's like, what the fuck?
No, bro. I was like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, dude. This gets fucking weird, bro. Yeah, this is a fucking true story. So, some nights later, I'm driving through Lake Oswego, my buddy, and he forgot to turn his headlights on.
Sure.
Bro, we get surrounded by cops and pulled over. Rips me out of the car. I'm down face on the pavement, gun in the neck. And I'm not shitting you. The cop, I heard the click, and he said, if you fucking move, I'm going to blow your brains out. He said, I'm going to blow your head off or some shit. I'm not kidding you. 14 years old, nothing, too, doing nothing. Guess who was driving that car I was in? The son of the chief of police.
Right.
Brian, the son of the chief of police, just got in his dad's fucking cruiser and they went home.
Right.
Straight the fuck up. Like, this was just harassment. This is how I got to know the police in my community.
For no reason.
For nothing. So this is the cop who told me he was going to take me down. By the way, they took me to jail, held me in a holding cell, brought me into a room with my buddy. And this is the first time I was ever interrogated by police. And he said this, and I shit you not, verbatim, word for word. He said, Nick, I know you're the fucking kingpin of this town. This is some high-grade shit. And it was. We went downtown Portland to buy that weed. And he's like, I knew you were the biggest drug dealer in town. He kept saying all this shit to me. Why is he saying this? My buddy, who knows me, he's like sitting across the table looking at me like this. Just
like you are?
What? No, he knew I wasn't. He's like,
I know. How did I not know
the
this?
look on my buddy's face was, oh my God, these guys are really fucking stupid, aren't they? Like, how the fuck could they think a 14-year-old kid's a kingpin? They really did. My aunt told me they genuinely believed that. That those guys came after me because they really thought I was, dude, at this point in time, this is the funny thing. At this point in time, I'd never even sold a nickel bag.
Nah.
I didn't even know how. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Do I have any money? No.
Yeah.
Can't you tell I didn't sell any weed or any drugs?
But that's those are your Columbos, bro.
Like, why aren't you looking for the people who have all the money?
Those were the Columbos of Lake Oswego. Fucking hitting detectives,
when
man.
I got paid to do the 420 Fest a couple years ago, I had to get a permit from, it was 26-point plan. That's what the county in Wasco County forces you to do. 26 different fucking deals with different agencies. Water department, sewer, whatever the fuck. One of them was the sheriff. Okay. So I go into the sheriff's office in the Dalles and I sit down and then I have a meeting with him and the planner, the city planner, whatever the fuck. We're all sitting there. And I'm just giving my proposal. I'm just reading it. You know, I say, hey man, I'm having people are camping, they're fucking blah, 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 all this shit, right? And the sheriff says, well, I just want you to know that we're not going to approve this permit if you guys are going to be selling weed out there. And I'm like, well, you know, the Oregon law, like, weed shops sell weed. Like, exclusively. You know, I don't know. Like, did you know that? And he's like, oh, well, I mean, you know, just saying. You know, like, but I mean, I'm like, really, you know, like, do you not know? Or did you not know? Or not? I don't know. I mean, you're the fucking main guy of the whole county. You're not convincing me. Do you know that it wasn't even on the table? Because it's not even legal at all. And this is like a legal permit. Like, what are you doing? I mean, it's like no matter where you sit, they're dumb.
I know.
It's just dumb. It's
You know
dumb.
what?
Like I paid for a permit. Like what? You're fucking don't want business. Like
There's
what? I don't
definitely-
get it. I just don't get the angle other than you're a dumb fucking prick.
dumb prick. You
That's
know,
it. Like, I don't know what the other angle is.
that
I'm
ig-
not.
it's
I'm
an-
missing it.
It's like a lack of investment in the craft. Right? I mean, isn't that what it is?
It's
Like,
disappointing,
like
dude.
yeah, like
I'm disappointed. I'm genuinely depressed that we live in a country full of dispassionate.
so wait a second.
fuckwads.
Wait a second.
How are you not a passionate person that wants to help the fucking community?
No, we got it. We're right.
Like I just don't understand.
I got a TV
where
show,
you're coming
dude.
from.
I got a TV show right now.
Okay, pitch it.
Nick and Roman, cops. All right, Roman, we're cops. What are we looking for?
Okay, like
Let's say like
I'm looking
we're
around.
both in different cruisers. We're on different sides of town.
Okay,
All right.
I'm driving along.
What side of town you on?
I'm uptown.
You're uptown.
I'm
You're in
up
the
on the
heights.
Heights, yeah, I'm-
Okay, I'm down by the Shell.
Is it daytime or nighttime?
It's like twilighty.
What's twilight mean? Is that like nighttime?
It's like night's just about to hit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So so it's like I think I'm gonna sit like right at that funky. I'm gonna sit over there on Union.
So
Street.
should I harass that weird dude with the
No,
sign
hold
on the
I'll tell
corner?
you what
No, I'm
what you
serious.
should do. Here's what I
Okay.
should do. I should sit right on Union Street and try to slow the traffic down there where people are going to pull up by US Bank and there's a lot of people crossing the street right there.
Right there, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's really dangerous. So if they see me, everybody will slow down right there and that'll allow that traffic to flow a little better. That's what I would do if I was trying to help.
That was a
at-
great
at, like,
answer. So
5:30.
yeah, we're talking about ways to make what ways police can be effective, and I was going to say that earlier in our conversation that visibility is
Mhm.
effective.
Oh yeah, very much.
So you're totally. That's great. That's cool. See, okay, so my situation is I'm the dick cop. You're the good cop.
right.
So I'm down on the corner by Shell and Chevron. So my my thinking is, should I harass the guy in the corner with the sign?
Right.
With the dog, he's clearly not from here.
Right.
Or should I go pull over that jacked up Scirocco?
If I was you, what I'd do is I'd pull in behind. I'd pull my car.
That was a
in
throwback to
I like it. If I was looking for one of those kind of cars, I would pull in behind Ho-Hos and just kind of peek over the fence.
Ho-hos. Ho-hos. Oh, okay.
Just peek over the fence and just see if I can see someone's attention. Go, hey, you got a crack. And then you can just keep it going.
So if I was that dirty cop, I could actually park behind Ho-Hos. I could look over that fence and then I could pick one, be like, you. And then when I see that Scirocco driving around, just pull it over and be like, oh, your license plate was kind of dirty and your tags are
You got heroin in the car.
Your tags are suspiciously brand new. That's why I stopped you.
It's strange. Your back window's tinted, but your side ones aren't. I was wondering why. I noticed you have an oversized rearview mirror.
So-
strange. Why?
Excuse me. Sorry. Look, okay. So you're uptown helping pedestrians. I'm down by the port trying to decide who to harass. I'm looking to get a bust tonight.
Okay.
So
Hold on. I'm going to do the right thing down there, too. Okay. So you go.
here's I'm gonna joking aside. I'm thinking about it being a real cop.
Yeah.
So if I'm a cop and what am I doing on patrol? I'm trying to keep roads safe.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, is that the objective? I'm
Yep.
trying to keep roads flowing, keep roads safe,
Mhm.
make sure that means I'm going to clear dead
Yeah, I'm
animals off the side of the
Well,
road
I'm
and debris. I'm going to get that piece of plywood off the.
And I'm looking for people. Yeah. Well, maybe, or at least I'm gonna like radio somebody that works for the county that's supposed to do it, or the state, or somebody.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, I
like
mean,
that.
like you should create a log
So
probably
keeping
when you
I'm-
see unsafe stuff like a rock in the road, but maybe you don't. It's not actually your job. Maybe you could easily, but maybe you don't have time. So like you could probably make a record of it though. Like I
So-
would if
yeah.
if I was at work, I would make a record.
So as
If
a
I
cop,
came about something that was wrong, you know?
right? So as me as a cop, pulling someone over for bad tags is actually pretty legit,
Oh, it totally is.
Right?
I completely agree.
because
I
you
think it's
have to
actually-
enforce those
and
laws
it's
that
not
are
just that.
keeping that road safe, which is
Oh, I think all
part of it.
lights, all the lights, all the stuff, everything. Like I said, all of that, even up to a dirty license plate that you can't read. You know, I understand that there's a level of dirtiness to even a license plate. It's like your responsibility to keep it visible. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so all that stuff is valid. but I just don't know that the steps that are taken.
No cop's
with the
gonna pull you
person-
over, walk up and be
Well,
like, "Hey
even
man, just clean that up. See you later,
Right.
buddy."
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
they're
saying.
never gonna
All he
do
had to do
that.
was he could have pulled over. He
I
could have
gotta
pulled
make
up
something out
beside
of
me.
this.
He could have pulled up beside me and said, "Hey man, your license plate's dirty."
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
it was like small town 10:30. I don't know, man. So like the big one is like cars. When people are drunk, they drive like pretty obviously drunk. So like all of us come about them all the time, and like there's not a lot you can really do. I mean, I just don't think I want to deal with trying to turn somebody in for drinking and driving. Like I just don't even think that it's realistic that a cop is going to do anything or even show up or anything. I don't think anyone thinks that's a really valid way to go about it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't. Like when I see someone that goes over the white line 6 times in a mile, they're either too old to drive, too tired to drive, or wasted.
So it's right
something.
right when you said that is what I was thinking about. I drive a lot.
It's dangerous.
Most
you know?
of the hours I drive are the hours that people are sober.
Right, but sometimes they're still fucked up.
No,
right? Like,
yeah,
you've
still
seen it
fucked up,
before,
but
I'm
not-
sure, you know, like
Yes,
like
but
over the shit, and I just don't. I think
sure.
it's like
But I think my point was agreeing with what you said, because I thought you just raised a good point, an interesting point, is that I see people driving like it looks like they would be a drunk driver all the time, and it turns out it's like, well, you know, like you said,
they're just really
some
old
older
or-
person in like a luxury SUV or something who's on their phone and they're swerving, and it's like, is that guy more dangerous than the drunk guy? I don't know.
Probably.
I don't want drunk people driving around on my streets.
either.
I kind of feel like the criteria is too loose and vague.
I agree.
I think it should be just cut and dry. Like we have a limit, we have a test. You pass the test, we're done here.
Right.
Not like, oh, I still
Oh, I
think
agree.
you're inebriated. No. Fuck you. You need to have some fucking rights against them, and there
Well, and
should
there
just
has
be
to be-
really cut and dry
There has
fucking
to be
criteria.
and there has to be like like you said, like a motor function concept that's applicable to driving. Like whatever the test is, it's got to be something that can test a person's ability to react. So it shouldn't be based on any amount of alcohol or anything else. It's a simple test where you pull someone
Interesting.
over and you say, "Can you react in a situation that's going to come about in driving?" Now, is that test possible? I don't know.
No, that's
Is there-
interesting.
I don't know what that is, but old people that can't pass it,
right.
foreigners that come here on vacation that can't pass that,
People
whatever.
who are too small driving
Whatever
big
it is, I don't give a
cars.
fuck. I don't want to
Yeah.
name all the groups that people would hate me for hating. Whatever. You can't see over the dash. Fuck,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
so
yeah.
tall that you can't see because the shit's in your way. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But if you can't do whatever it is,
See,
you
mate-
can't fucking drive.
Yeah, you make a good point too. Is because we've talked about like how if Eddie Van Halen was just such a hardcore fucking full pedal to the floor alcoholic
Right.
that he just functioned normal, completely shithoused, and he could go out on stage and just play lights out guitar, remember all his
Right.
parts, and not
Right.
fucking. So like, what if you pull over that guy?
Right.
The guy who's just such a hardcore alcoholic that his motor function's solid, but he's blowing fucking 4 times over what you would consider
Right.
the limit.
And I don't want to, like I said,
so
I
does
don't
that
want
guy
to be
get to
the
drive
guy.
away?
Well, I don't, nobody. So here's the thing: nobody wants to be the guy that says anybody could ever drink and ever drive and to be okay. Like nobody ever wants to say that. Fuck, I can't even say that shit coming out of my mouth. I can hear myself going "Ugh," because like people die. It's fucked.
Yes.
Like who the fuck? I'm not belittling that. I'm not going down that road.
Right.
I've been fucking tie yourself to that. But guess what happens because no one will tie themselves to it? It has literally no sensical fucking pathway. It's just really going to turn into this big mob violence concept. Because if you stop talking about shit like in any normal way whatsoever, you just lose it. And like we are fucking on the verge of having conversations about things at all of any kind. Like I mean I'm serious. Like I laugh at our amazing 47,862 people watching.
One
But realistically, it comes to the fact that like maybe 20, 30 people check out what we're doing. What we're talking about, if there was 30,000 people listening to us, would get us like into these weird groups, right? Like if we had, I don't know what the number is of people that would hear us talk about anything, but we say things that you can't say. I don't know, like the last time you listened to a podcast that wasn't considered a comedy podcast that said anything that wasn't like this or like this or like this or oh, I don't know, but it was like this. And if it didn't sound like that, then it wasn't fucking a podcast. Like you didn't hear it. Like they're all that's what PBS, OPB, Elemental P, they all sound like this and then this and then maybe this.
I just talk about whatever's on my mind. I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's like right-wing psychos comedians, and then this. Let me tell you about like a person who got murdered. They stabbed her fucking eyes out. It was incredible.
So, hey man, back to the cops thing. So we're cops, right?
Yeah,
But back to us being cops.
Okay, yeah.
So where were we? We were talking about drunk driving.
You were
spotting drunk driving.
You were like going to be at the port.
Yeah, it's past the port thing. I was like, I was.
What'd you do down there though? You didn't do anything to anyone.
No, I didn't, because then I moved on to talking about what would your what's your actual it's your craft. This is my craft. I'm Officer Nick. I'm fucking king of the fucking
you know
road.
what it is? I got it.
Do you know what I mean?
Here's
No,
what I
I'm
would do.
serious.
Here's
I'm
what I
being
would do.
fucking serious.
I know,
I
I'm gonna tell you what I would
love
do.
being a cop. I love this job.
Here's
What do I do every day to help my
Here's what
community?
Here's what I would do. I would make, I don't know how many, maybe like 5 specific routes, and I would just choose one, like just randomly. I wouldn't tell anybody like which one, but I would just pick one, and I would do that same kind of loop style thing, right? Like where I made sure I went through pretty much everything, and I just, as a public servant, I want to make sure like everything looks normal to me.
Yeah, and make sure your presence is known.
Each street that's in my area, like I want to go down each one and like make sure that everything looks normal. But I don't want to go down it like 18 times or anything, because I don't want to overdo it or anything. You know, I could realize that there's a certain balance between being supportive and being fucking weirdo. You know, so like you got to make sure that you realize that, because you just have to think about it for a second. Like when I wasn't a cop, how did I feel about that? It's not really super deep, you know. So, but then the next thing is any people that you see, you want to meet them. Like basically anyone that doesn't look like a tourist, you want to meet them. You want to learn their name, like through a nice way. That way you can figure out what they're doing up until the point where they're actually doing something that you have to say something about it. But otherwise, you kind of want to know who they are. So I would guess that the first thing you do with like a homeless guy, you just go buy him like a cheeseburger or something. You like try to make friends. You know what I mean? Like, because you want to make sure you know what he's doing. It's not like he's down his luck. He may be there forever. I don't know. But like what you really just don't want is it to go bad for him and for everybody else. You just don't. If it can stay where it is.
I like this. Can I ask you a question?
Stay where it is. You can be okay.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Hold your thought too. So are you going to be the kind of cop who, you know, you're getting to know your neighborhood, like you said. So you're the kind of cop that is just going to, like, no matter what, any law broken must be punished.
Well, of course not. Context.
So do you think that there's other officers who feel that way?
Oh yeah, I agree. I think everybody.
And I don't mean with a bias. I mean it could be anybody.
All do whatever they want. I read it. I heard yesterday. I don't remember where. I believe a podcast or somewhere, but it was that there's the average person has 4 felonies a day. Yeah.
What fucking felonies did I do today?
Average person commits 4 felonies.
What fucking felony did I do?
3 or 4, something like that. So, anyways, but the idea isn't really to pin down if that's true or not. It's just kind of a thought experiment. And the idea that
no, I remember now.
How many times you do something that you can't? Oh, whoops. Ooh,
I'm just playing.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that one.
Shit.
But no, but really, you know, it's like, to me, I'm just saying, like, I'm thinking to myself that a lot of people fuck up a lot. And I don't really want to live in a society where everyone's like up each other's asses. And like, so I kind of think like you should kind of play it by like where you're at. Like if you're in a situation where it's like a certain way, then you should play it like the way it is, right? Like, and people should have the balls to do that. And if you get fired because you're trying to be real, like, well, then you should just get fired, man. Go be something else.
So let me
do your best, you know?
Let me ask you one other question then. So, like, thinking about this through the lens that we're cops, right?
Yeah.
And this is our craft, and we genuinely love it and have invested ourselves in it, right?
Right.
So how do you, and I mean this about you just personally too, actually you, Roman, how do you feel about the law? Should there be laws that were just like, dude, it's not a big deal?
Well, that's why I'm not a drug and alcohol counselor, because I don't think drugs should be illegal.
Yeah, like smoking a joint. No, anybody, like, there's cops out there who have thrown people in prison for like a pipe.
I think,
for example, like there's no exception.
I don't think it should be legal for kids to do drugs by any stretch. Like by any means, I think we should do everything.
I just mean like, I'm talking about enforcing any law.
What I'm saying is there shouldn't be anyone that's enforcing any drug law that isn't a cartel or gang related. Like I said, if it isn't like a war, where you're talking, I'm talking anything below that. With anger, I don't know where the anger comes from.
With drugs.
Why are you mad that the guy's doing cocaine?
It's so weird.
Just arrest him nicely.
Well, it's not.
I'm saying if you want to arrest him, I still just don't. I don't get the culture of anger and why it's not clearly addressed.
Because certain
like,
drugs,
even for the simplest shit, like a cop shows up, I'm like, hey man, can you just keep it down? You're like freaking everybody out, man.
if you're on Adderall, it's cool. It's cool meth. If you know Vicodin, cool heroin. It's like it's the label though, right? That's all it is. Drugs, it's just like, whoa, that version of the drug super bad, and it's really weird how it is so bullshit and so.
Well, it's not crime. Crime's crime. There's crime. It's not even in the 10 Commandments, man.
The first time I ever smoked pot, I smoked a joint and I bought it off the janitor at Safeway.
Right.
And
best weed probably.
It was
weed,
Leaf. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was the first pot I ever smoked. But
ripped you off. So
the first thing I thought to myself is my buddy and me went back to his house and I'm like, dude, this is just a plant. You know what I mean? Like that was just my instinct.
Well,
and he's like, yeah.
Weird, huh?
Weird. What the fuck? Like
you lose all fucking hope in mankind.
You're raised in marijuana so bad. You're like, Jesus Christ, it's really just a plant. Why are you guys so freaked out over a fucking plant?
No, and then you go to the gym, high as fuck, and score like 70 points and think like, what are you fucking talking about, you dumb
fuck is your
fuck?
problem? Yeah. What, I don't see. I don't get it. Like,
man,
dude,
you're just owning like these sober fucking people.
Now with the legal road,
I was on a job site.
Like,
I was on a job site one time where there was 6 dudes sitting there eating lunch, and the guy that was running the job was this local dude who I won't name because he already died, but he's a cocksucker. And he sat and told all 5 of us who had just gotten fucking high together at lunchtime, like I'm talking real high. And he looked at all 5 of us and he said, you know, I'll never have a person that was high on my job site, and I would never even speak to a person that smoked marijuana. And all 5 of us were, and he's like, I can tell one of those kind of people a mile away, is what he said. And I looked, and I was like, fucking a foot from him. Like I almost had a little smoke left. Like,
so he was like raised to think that. Like,
I don't know, man.
He didn't actually experience it. It wasn't an actual experience.
How could you have one of? So I was a subcontractor. I didn't work for that dude, but there were dudes there that were like long-haired hippies with pipes in their front pocket and like worked for him for like 20 years, man. And like, that's what he thought. And like, I kept thinking to myself, how dumb like are some people, like when the shit's right in front of their fucking face. It was like incredible. Like how ignorant. Like it was just, I don't know. I was just blown away, man. Like, but it was just one of those tears in the way, like how I became like a musician. It's not really a happy story. It's a story for me as an angle to be able to talk about stuff when there's no more words left. And like the internet came along. It's interesting that we can talk about this stuff, but I converted most of this ignorance and shit just into rock and roll. Cause like, I don't even know how do you even talk to these fucking, I mean, these people live their lives. They're actually living right now, sitting there like watching TV, like thinking about how to fucking hurt other people. And like, and people just stand by and let it be like a profession. Like it's such a joke.
You're talking about cops?
Sure. Yeah. Not just cops, all kinds of people that get to be mean to people all the time, all over the place for no reason at all. And everybody knows they're fucking ridiculous. And like I said, I dreamed up this idea back in the Trump days where like people who like Trump, they had just made like an okay deal with like liking some old dude in their family who was a complete piece of shit. And they just made this okay that like you can still like people who are complete pieces of shit. And like it hurts my heart to have had to tell people who are pieces of shit that I love that they're pieces of shit. I mean, that's just how it goes. Like if somebody's a psycho racist, it doesn't really matter who the fuck they are. You kind of don't just get to say, oh, well, let's just kind of still hang out on Thanksgiving and shit. You got to say, hey, man, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. You're a fuck piece of shit. Like, there's some line. There's no line. Like, oh, no, I wasn't at the KKK meeting. I was in the car. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, man? You just stand by and just let people say N-word over N-word. That's your own grandpa. What are you going to do? You're going to get the fuck away from them. That's all you can do. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
You love them. You wish they weren't, but what are you gonna do? You know.
It's a weird phenomenon to be attracted to something that's negative,
I know.
isn't it? To be attracted to
It
something
makes me feel negative.
yeah.
Thinking about it.
Well, it's bizarre. It's
Addictive.
it's really weird, like having fucking dick face out of the spotlight, out from under the microscope, with fucking the Twitter feed gone and just the news cycle gone.
It's just like
It's
back
just,
to regular, just
it's
dumb,
this,
all bunch of dumb.
but
fucks,
it's
not
also
just
this.
one.
It's also this like PTSD kind of feeling where it's kind of like almost like a depression for me, where it's just what you described, where it's not him. He was the symptom. It was that was allowed to happen and that people were supportive of it. And it's like, geez, why would you be supportive of something just so dark and negative and like also just false?
And
You know what I mean? Like
and-
the
and
dude would
how
be like,
could-
the sky is yellow. And you're like,
How-
see, Nick, the sky is yellow.
Well, how fucking stupid is anybody that thinks that like we ever want to live in a world where there's one side is right? Like, what the fuck is that all about? Who would ever want to live in a world where one person's right? Like, I don't give a fuck who it is.
That's the other thing.
Not
Is
even
it was
me.
just one dude.
Who would
That's-
want to be in charge? Like, you got to be something wrong with you. That's why Biden's in charge. He's just reading a teleprompter. That's the way it used to be. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, it's
Fuck,
totally-
man. It's like everybody keeps saying everything about Biden, and I'm going, yeah, he's a puppet. Yeah, that's exactly what the job is.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
fucking morons.
Yeah.
It's like Joe Rogan used to just beg for that. He used to beg for that. He'd be like, no one man should have that job, right?
Yeah.
But then he has all these cocksucker right-wing friends, and now I haven't heard him say that for 25 episodes because it did happen. That is what it is. It's like you asked for it, and now you're bitching about something else.
Yeah.
It's fucking super disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, literally, people just said for 4 years, we really just need someone to do the job and so that we can actually do it collectively because that's what the fucking government is in
Yeah.
a country like ours. It's a big fucking collective government of people, all the way from your DMV all the way to the president.
And
And,
it
we
should- and it
do
should
your
be-
job,
it-
stay in your lane.
Yeah, it should
you know?
be. It should be boring.
And his job is to keep his dogs from biting people. It ain't nothing else. Talk some speeches that somebody smart wrote.
It should be boring.
It should be boring.
Politics should be
and
boring.
lame.
Because politics is what is that quote? Politics is the business of governments and politicians. Politics is policy. Policy writing is fucking boring.
It's boring.
It's
Nobody likes
supposed to be
Get out of
boring.
here. A bunch of
Sit
fake.
around and talk about infrastructure for 12 hours.
You know what
Nobody
it
wants
is,
to
Nick?
do that.
You know what it is, Nick? It's a bunch of guys like us.
It's the same
They
thing.
can
The
tell some
craftsmanship.
jokes.
if
We
you
could
like
tell
it.
some jokes. We could tell some jokes. We could be like serious, right? And then we could make money. And there's a bunch of guys that are like just witty enough to do something like this with politics and make it all serious. And they're taking a bunch of people's money. They're creating these little mini cults, and they're just taking people's money. And it's crooked. That's the most crooked. Well, real estate agents. But beside them, the most crooked thing you can do is make some fucking self-help bullshit and take people's fucking money from some fake shit where you're like trying to be like, no, not that, dude. Do this. It's not that one. It's the other one. Fuck out of here with your polar ass shit. Everybody's got to live somewhere. If your policy is like, where should everybody live? Fuck you anyways that you're talking about it that way. Everybody's going to fuck and make more people, and you move the fuck over.
It's super
That's
complicated.
it.
It's
Move
super
the fuck
complicated.
over. One way or the other, people are gonna live.
Still boring.
No, I know. Trust me. But I'm saying is
At least there's
it's,
not.
it's about
there's
the
not-
cultural aspect.
Hey, but back to the
Okay, so where are you gonna patrol?
The,
What if you have to be in the
back
Dow?
to the mood, back to the negative mood, like people being dicks to each other, like you were saying,
Right.
with the ex-president and that whole atmosphere that was created too. It was, God damn it, I fucking lost my thought because we were talking about fucking Biden. I was talking about that atmosphere of just fucking.
Like vitriol, like just constant. Like who cares who's right? Somebody's just making fun of someone else to make the point. Someone else is using bad grammar. Someone else is using all the fucking shitty tactics of a high school bully. Right or wrong, you lose the point with me when you start arguing cheap. And to me, that's like I couldn't get past the cheapness of the conversation. Like I want, you know what I want? I want the robot that beats 6 professional chess champions in an hour at chess. I want that robot as the president. That guy's way smarter and more logical
it's
than any person ever could.
Do you know what? Do you know why? The reason why there's no dialogue that's productive
There's no intent.
is
there's no
because
incentive.
there's no consensus.
Well, there's no incentive.
No, check me out here.
Too.
Check me out
You
here.
need money.
There's no consensus. This means like between what we call right and left. You can't, which means we all have to agree on something. If we can't agree on something like basic and fundamental, like
Well,
check me out. I got something.
Yeah.
I got something crazy here, man. It's crazy. So the sky is blue. If you handed everybody a color wheel and said circle the color of the sky, they'd all circle blue.
Except Ted Cruz.
Everybody agrees that the sky is blue. Then we got a dude who comes along. He's like, well, you know what?
Ted Cruz.
He's like,
Call him Ted Cruz.
sure.
Yeah.
So then they got a guy that comes along. He's like, you know what, though? It's kind of really a shade of green. No, it's not. Well, you know, it's also orange in the afternoon. And you know, it's not actually blue. You just see it that way because of the atmosphere. Okay, now this is gaslighting. This is what I'm saying. This is like This is like conservative culture where it's like, dude, if we can't just fucking agree that the sky is blue, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't agree on fucking anything.
No.
Well,
and that's what's caused. That's what's caused a lot of people to overplay their hand.
That's their argument.
So at this point now, we got both sides. See, there's a point in which you realize that someone's playing so fucking fake that you have to either die or play fake too. You have no choice. What choice do you have? I mean, have you seen did you see the conversation between Jordan and did you see the fucking shouting match today?
No.
I mean, dude, our government's turning into like
who? Jim Jordan?
The same fucking piece of shit that
Jim Jordan
interrupts every single person.
Yeah, he's
won't
a psycho.
Shut the fuck up, dude. He has fucking got in an argument with every single person.
Yeah, I know.
He just keeps going.
I'm
And I
familiar.
don't. He's just like the Oregon Senate. They just walk out.
They're
They're so arrogant. They're like, "Fuck you! I won't even speak to you." And every single time, it's a minority.
yeah.
Every single time, it's a woman or a minority or both. In this case,
So
I don't understand how come they don't understand that they don't have any respect for those people.
So you know John Boehner, former speaker.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, I heard his whole thing.
You heard him?
Oh yeah, that's
You know,
crazy.
he wrote his book. And
Oh,
he
yeah,
was talking about Jim
the
Jordan.
motherfucker that came at him with the knife
Yeah.
didn't even say he didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He said he did.
So he was talking about
That shit just went away, Nick. That story went away.
Yeah, I know.
That somebody just said that in the fucking public. They said, this motherfucker came at me with a knife in the hall, and then they said, yeah, I did. And then we're talking about something else.
Mhm.
That knife, that means that happens.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit, people pulling guns.
So
Imagine how kind of crooked money shit's going on if somebody's got a knife.
right. So what was interesting about Boehner is fucking weird that I'm even saying this because John Boehner can go fuck himself.
Oh, yeah, he didn't do anything to help.
But what was interesting about his interview was, and he still sounded like John Boehner, the fucking dick that he's always been. But what he was saying about conservatives, which I agreed with him on when he brought up Jim Jordan, was he said, quote, I don't know what they're fighting for.
Nobody does. They don't know. Money.
But
It's not
that's
even
what's
more money.
That's what's so weird about conservatism in America today is they're not fighting for anything.
Well,
so when we say liberals, they're fighting for reform the system.
Oh, I
right?
got it.
They want to reform the system, reform the medical, the healthcare system,
Oh,
reform the education system, reform this system is the problem.
It's progressive.
The conservatives like, no, lock this guy up and we're good.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying is, what's the conservative?
There's no
cause?
money in it.
There's no
They've
conservative
already got their
cause.
money. That's what I'm saying. When you've already got your money, why would you want progressiveness?
So
Like,
there was
that
no-
makes you lose money.
There was no platform at the RNC, if you recall.
I'm not sure I've seen an adult platform.
No, I mean there was no.
in my lifetime.
I mean the Republican National
I know.
Convention had no platform.
That's what I'm trying to
which
say.
kind of just tells you right there, like there's no cause anyone's fighting for. The conservative in America
Anti-government.
is anti.
Which
They're
is anti,
against.
yeah.
Which is conservatism at its core
It
across
is.
the world,
It is.
which is to just keep it the same.
Against stuff.
So
yeah.
conservatism in Pakistan that's why it's like the Quran: women cover their face, can't drive.
Right.
The way it
Oh, I
used
know.
to be,
Oh, I
the
know.
old days. Make this place great again, the way it used to be, which is conservatism.
Well,
which
and
is
it's
keep
some
it
kinda-
the old way. Like, don't reform the system.
Well, it's some kind of power dynamic where, like, our old caste system, where we politely call it like post-slavery till yesterday. This caste system that we have, that's based on people's skin color, and then also different economic value, that we just like love to pretend like isn't there. and it's just a constant concept, and it's basically in every way that you can look at society, there's some form of that there. And so, like, I don't know why conservative people would want that to change. If anything, they would want it to go back to even more of that. I mean, because the thing is about the Supreme Court is that it's kind of always based on kind of that thing like you're talking about. It's the general compass of what the society thinks, and that's kind of like why that isn't people who would run for president isn't the same person who is a person who would be picked for the Supreme Court. I mean, even the people Trump picked haven't really done anything for him because there's just no reality behind it. So that politicking only works for the one branch of the government. In reality, it just doesn't work really for the judicial. It just hasn't. Not in my opinion. I just haven't seen outlandish Supreme Court stuff yet. I mean, I'm sure it's out there, but
it's a tangled web that it's just a gridlocked web.
Well, I just look at
when I look at gridlock system that gets nothing done.
Well, the Democrats are basically like rock bands, right? And there's like good and bad, good bands, bad bands. And the Republicans are like Christian bands, and they have their own group of people that will support their industry. But as any individual will try to get into a type of an intellectual setup with a regular rock band, very few of them would really be able to make it in the world you're talking about. Like when you talk about like reforming infrastructure, okay, like you know how smart you have to be to actually be in a conversation in a room of people where you were going to really make a dent in reforming infrastructure.
It would just
you'd be Elon Musk, and it'd be like, it's like you got to be pretty fucking smart. I mean, there's like trafficology. Like you imagine like driving through a city and figuring out how those lights work. Like people are smart.
So all that is
they're not politicians.
All that is money.
But I'm just saying, the revenue somewhere you have to hire the guy that knows what he's doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Somewhere.
It's the allocation of money.
But you have to.
You can get anything you want.
Call. I know lots of people that still don't know how to even Google the right company to get. I mean, people are constantly eating food that they don't even like the taste of it. It's simply because they just don't know where to even get food from that they like. I mean, people really don't have we don't have a very intelligent culture in that way. Like, I mean, it's just if you're going to be obese, why not get a delicious burger? You know what I mean? Carl's Jr. is not the best burger.
Oh my God, it's disgusting, dude.
I just don't know why you would, if you're going to make the decision to eat 43 cookies, eat the good ones,
dude,
not the Walmart ones. I just don't understand. Like they're basically the same price. I mean,
do you remember the Radio Grill? The Radio Grill was that fucking restaurant that was in Walmart where the customer service.
I wish that was open.
Do you remember that hot dogs?
They were just so gross. I used to power one down, but God, how could you buy it? Why can't you just make a decent? I mean, you're fucking richest company at that time, richest people on the planet, and they still couldn't just sport a decent dog, bro, that you're gonna even pay for. No. Like, you don't even give me the opportunity to pay for a good one. Like, can't you just give me a $12 option? You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. It's really a degrading culture when you have an unlimited amount of money and you still are trying to figure out a way to cut a corner. Like, I still just don't understand why that is a fun thing to do unless you're a fucking psycho prick.
That's what I was just saying.
I just don't know why. Like, Bill Gates, I won't say, like, I think he made a computer, and like, if he still has something to do at all with the fact of like it getting better, they do get better. This computer I have now works better than the last one I had. The people in Apple, like, I think that's what they're doing. Like, it makes sense a little bit, and like, I think that's where it's headed. Are they too expensive? Yeah. Are they fucking people over in a million ways? Sure. But I'm just talking about the products are advancing with, some.
We both have Bill Gates' microchips in us too.
Right. Well, it's just some kind of uniformity to the process, though. Like this,
I just had to mention that
this blazer coat I have on is like nicer material than it used to be in the '90s, and like there's things that are moving ahead. And then you peek around the corner at some industries, and you're like, okay, so you guys are just making money, and you're not going to do anything. Like, you're not. Like, I just don't understand why that as a culture, we don't have a way to mention that to people. You know what I mean? Like, we just still go, oh, here we are at the DMV again. It's like, when does the DMV have to hire a third person? Like, when do, you know what I'm saying?
We don't need the DMV.
Well, I know we don't, but you see where I'm coming from? No, you're right, but I'm just saying, like, when does the line long enough that the people that live in that area say, we need another DMV in this area. Like, there's too many people in here. Like, who gets to say that? Why do they get to abuse it to such a degree? You know, like, it just seems abusive. And, like, I don't know why it gets that bad. Because most of all of the government really, like, they almost purposely look stupid every way they can. And then everyone hates them, and then they get tax money. Like, why can't they try to look
It's funny
smart?
you just mentioned that because I was just going to say that.
Kind of try to look smart.
So I'm just now like having to deal with the IRS. My wife got a new job recently, and basically like we were trying to figure out how to file our taxes.
Right.
We ended up owing taxes.
Sure.
Kind of lame. So like I'm like, I don't want to pay them all. I don't want to pay this all at once.
Oh yeah, do the payment program.
So I did that. So what's so interesting though is the amount of goddamn administrative shit they send us is fucking insane. Like, and I'm thinking about it from like a business perspective. Like, I'm paying this person.
Right.
All of this shit has to be thought out and packaged and sent to me, and it's all arbitrary. None of it means anything. We've already negotiated what we're doing. Like, we don't actually need any paperwork to exchange.
No.
So I'm like thinking about like, how much money are these guys spending? Like, they've already lost how much I owe them just trying to get me to pay it. And now they're just going to keep doing it. That means by the time I pay them back, they're going to be like upside down tenfold. Just from all this administrative waste shit that they're just wasting money and time on. Like, what the fuck is going on down there?
They get paid with free money though, so they don't really care.
Exactly, just like you just said, just like the DMV. Like, they don't fucking care.
But everybody's
like, fuck it, I got a job.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. But as a culture,
seriously,
it's not supposed to be so easy to stereotype all this stuff without somebody being able to step in and say, "Wait a minute, why do we have like? Does there have to be a crime committed before people can like address it? Like, how come? Like the plywood in the street. Did someone wreck and die? Is that why they picked it up? Like, I'm not
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What is it? Like, is it that somebody mentioned it from the newspaper? Or like, is it actually citizens that just pick stuff up off the road only?
Right. Or the neighborhood that just gives a shit or whatever.
Like I'm saying is I'm genuinely unsure because like I remember when somebody told me, I don't remember when it was, but when somebody told me how road taxes were from fuel tax, like roads were paid by fuel tax. Like, I don't know, I read it somewhere, or somebody told me, I can't remember, but then I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so then I started kind of researching like where taxes or like which budgets go to which thing, which, at the time I didn't really have a lot of information, or, I couldn't have access to that type of information really. Mm-hmm. But then like all the way to like modern time now where like even my paycheck is broken on a big like cookie that shows me you know what I mean? Like analytics are so easy now. Like it's really easy for me to take small numbers and put them over large numbers and play around with a lot of math. It basically all the numbers in front of you now for the most part, except for who's tracking who or whatever. But I mean like the budget of the military and what they pay for and who's in that budget and then who's in the DHS budget. Mm-hmm. And like and most people have no idea that like all of like ICE and all of like the domestic everything is in the DHS budget. Like
yep.
And like people that are in the same like social workers are ICE. And so we already do employ social worker cops somehow in a weird way. And I don't even know how they're even remotely legal to even be cops. I don't even know where they came from or why they're, you know what I mean?
There's another irony with the military too. It's like this most inflated budget.
It's just
it's like, what is it, like 700 trillion? Is that what it is? Is it billion? Like the numbers just get lost and they're redundant at this point.
75-80% of the total amount
right,
period.
So basically what we do is we pay that much money to our military so our military can protect the value of that money, to protect the value of the currency.
Right.
And I know it sounds conspiratorial.
But it's excessive though.
But
it's like we could probably do the job with half that much. Like that's all I'm saying. Like the fear,
that's what I'm
there's
saying.
A certain amount you do need, but there's probably it's just like I said, we have to make dumb people in our culture to do the work. And if you solve people's problems, they're not going to be depressed enough to do some of this work. It's just people have got to be depressed enough to be in a church. They've got to be depressed enough to fuck women that look like dudes.
You know,
gotta
I
be
don't know,
depressed
man.
enough.
Like,
No, I mean presently.
I know, but I still.
But I'm
think,
saying
I think
most of those
there's
people-
still some craftsmanship out there. I mean,
Oh
people,
no!
people who
Individually,
like-
people can choose to be a craftsman or a genuine person in any given moment, and there's plenty of them. We have 5% of the population, 97% of the arrogance, and 43% of the hard workers. I honestly believe, like, when we traveled around the world working, we were like legendary as psychos of people who will do any work. Like the guys from Oregon will do anything; they'll get it done.
that
was our
sounds about right.
reputation.
I'm from Oregon.
Yep. And
Yeah.
that's just what, when the cruise ship world, that's what our company was known. Like, crazy. Music's loud, and we'll fucking stay up all night and do the work.
Music's loud, the cocaine's strong,
Right.
and the
People are
beer's
tough.
stored in your butt.
They're tough, you know. Portland had, like, the guys that all over the world would be like, oh, you guys are from Portland? Okay, well, that's like where the real strip clubs are. Like, everyone on the planet knows Portland because they have the most fucked up strip clubs.
Portland's fucking weird, dude.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I mean, people are like, oh, Portland, you know the weird one? I'm like, no, you're just the baby child. It's actually the strip club that you're known for. But and that's what, that's what the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the middle class child's play people who are playing like little gardening games in their backyards, their $700,000 houses and whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're playing like video games with their life. Like they're the sim. And I can't afford to be a real sim. I just play the regular game on the video game. Like, and just rent a fucking little shit cabin. But, like, I'm talking about the people that are playing the little games. Like the fun one where the lady puts the fucking speed bump out in the middle of the main road because she doesn't want you to drive fast by her kids. You're like, yeah, but it's a main road. And they just walk around and tell everybody in the area if they like it. No one will speak up, knowing that it's completely ridiculous to stick a piece of plastic in the middle of the street. But hey, guess what? A couple weeks later, it's legal because like everyone agreed to it, even though everybody knows it's just kind of a dumb idea. In fact, it might even cause people to be distracted and run over a kid. Like, to be honest with you, there's no real proof that you fucking with people is helping your kid live. Man, you're making them fucked up by fucking with other people. So like, it's a lose, 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 man. Like, you can't do better than just chilling the fuck out and fucking, when people do crime, you just got to wait and then you got to do something. You can't preemptively take care of shit.
Society
You don't
changes
get to
too.
do that.
Yeah, society changes too, right? Like
Nobody's smarter than everybody else. Like, I know crime's coming around the corner. I can smell it. It smells like an IROC. It smells like an IROC and crank.
I like when I was when I was a kid, my mom told me, "Don't be an idiot, Nick, and ride your bike in the street." That's how I was raised.
Right.
Like, you were the dumbass if you were riding your bike in the road. Why? Well, there's cars in the road. What are you, stupid? You're gonna get run over and die. Now society's like, oh no, that's fine now.
You
But
ride
you're
your
being
car out
stu-
there. You
Well,
go
you're
tell that man to stop his driving.
It's like it's acceptable. You're still stupid for doing it,
Right.
but we just accept it now. It's like, it's okay to be stupid and ride your bike in the street.
Well, I
now,
don't even
honey.
know what the law is.
I don't either.
I mean, honestly, I don't.
But you look
I mean, you know what I'm
stupid.
saying?
Like, you
Like,
made a
when people
really
drive-
stupid decision when you decided to ride your bike in the street. Like, you look like you make a lot of stupid decisions in your life.
Well,
if
I'm
you
just
decided
saying,
to do that.
Regular,
That was a dumb decision.
regular people are so psychotically vulnerable in the real world because when you drive down the road that has no lines painted on it, potholes
That's
over
a
the
weird
whole
decision.
thing.
That's
People
a
are
really
parked.
stupid decision.
People are parked. This is Wasco Street. People park going both ways on both sides of the street. While you're driving through, there are people walking both ways on both sides of the street and biking both ways on both sides of the street. And there's a fucking orange sign hanging out in the road that's telling you how fast you're going. And somebody's going to die. And like literally nobody there knows they might die. And it's just right up the road. You go to the skate park. There's no lights in the road. There's no lights anywhere. You can't see the intersections. No painted lines. No painted fucking lines. For years and years and years, no painted lines. They can't commit to what that's going to be. So they're doing like a 43-year study. You know what I mean? And I don't know what the fuck, man. People pulled over back their cars. Fucking car, is that a homeless guy? Is that a windsurfer? I can't really, kind of same, look the same. Like, really rich people and really homeless people kind of look and dress identically. I don't know. But anyways,
Minus the.
I don't know.
cargo.
I can't. When I drive through there, I'm like, I don't know how to drive right. I just try to get through it real quick. And like, I don't know what you're supposed to do. There's people in Oak Street. They're darting out. What's the law? Like you can dart out in front of. Why? Why do you get to dart out in front of other people? Like, wasn't that a weird choice we made? Like, the people couldn't just wait for a minute till it was clear? Like, the cars would be faster. It'd be easier. It's so weird, man.
Cars are fucking dangerous.
You can't just keep doing that. Like, no, but they're dangerous, but they're there. They're just there, man. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, that's the only road that even goes up the road. Like, you could make another road that just for cars and one for walking.
See, I was just thinking,
damn, dude, jamming that together is just cheap.
I was just thinking about, after I just said that, I was thinking, people make decisions to ride motorcycles too, and I think that's also a poor decision.
Well, I just think it's insane. I can't do it. I'm too scared.
Right.
Like, it just seems super crazy.
Same here. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I thought it was against the law to do all the things I was talking about. But like, it happens every single night. And I think if I was a cop or something, I'd probably pull up and like mention to somebody like, hey, when you walk 4 people wide with your back to the cars, like, it's really dangerous. Like, I don't know why you would do that. And like, there are people with really good jobs doing that every night. Like, I don't know that do they not know they might die? Even if it was illegal to kill them. But even if it was like somebody went to prison, manslaughter or whatever, like, you're still dead. Like, I was right. Oh, duh. I was right. I didn't mean to. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, what? I don't. Is there a better way to say thoughts and prayers? Stupid. Like,
wait, is it?
I love it.
I want to say something. It'll shift gears here. I've been smoking a little bit more weed than I usually.
Oh, really?
Anything
good?
No, that's probably why I've been smoking more than I would like. I wanted to say, though, if you haven't noticed, I am not drinking.
Oh.
And I'm on day 3.
Oh, shit, man. Good for you.
This is the longest I've gone without a drink.
Oh, that's nice.
2 years.
It's just nice. Like I said, I don't really think about it as drinking as much as it's
crazy.
Controlling what you want to do. You do what you want to do.
What I told myself is, I was in the shower and I'm like, Nick, you can't do this, man. You can't you're not going to live long. And I was like, dude, you quit smoking.
Right.
Like, how the fuck you quit fucking smoking? You can do fucking anything.
Oh, dude,
quit
smoking's brutal, man.
It was so hard. It took me like 20 times. You know what I mean?
It's brutal.
I'm like 5 years removed from fucking
I was really
now.
sick. I got a cold, really bad cold, and I quit smoking cigarettes when I had a really bad cold on a cruise ship. And I quit then. One time then, when I think everything before that was just kind of a feeble attempt.
Right.
But I just never smoked another cigarette after that day. And because I just took it super seriously. I don't know. I was just like, man, this is definitely going to kill me. I was like, how could I be this young and feel like shit from cigarettes? Like, how fucked up are cigarettes?
They're bad.
So I was like, man, how could
bad,
it even affect me? I'm like, I play basketball all the time, and I still puff on a smoke once in a while and just feel like shit and go, this is weird, man.
Weird.
Like, what kind of nothing should fuck with you that hard that you should ever do that long.
Yeah, tobacco is fucked up. And I remember
I chewed too, and it was brutal. Like,
right, me
quitting
too.
that too. It was like all of it. It's like the whole. Like, even now, I think, like, man, I could have a chew. I could probably do it and not chew. But then I'm like, that shit is not. You don't fucking touch that stuff.
Don't touch.
That stuff
is
is brutal.
It's poison.
But it's just
like,
so
it literally
addictive.
is, though. Like, if you're not
sneak
doing
into
it.
your mind. Like, you think you could handle it.
Yep.
And it's like, nah, you can't handle
I quit. So I quit a bunch of times. One time I quit for like almost 2 years. And what got me back into it is I had a cigar.
Oh, yeah.
And I just tasted the end of it and got a fucking nicotine buzz.
Me too.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to go buy a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. No,
that was like all it fucking took.
Well,
dude.
And that's why I kept telling people I didn't want to smoke blunts. And they were like trying to give me blunts like through the last few years.
I won't touch tobacco.
I don't want to smoke tobacco,
No.
Like, I don't want to be a bitch, but that's a really important thing to talk about is like, why weed is a problem or why it can be a problem. It has a lot to do with the same reason why alcohol can be a problem. And it's because people don't really think about having like a more professional or a more realistic relationship with those types of things, as opposed to how we mostly start drinking, which is just drink as much as you possibly can. And that culture of drinking as much as you can is kind of exclusive to our culture, not completely, but there's a few cultures.
You mean American culture?
Yeah, there's not that many cultures that drink as much as you possibly can every time you drink. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, it's kind of sad because that is the most of the culture, and nobody really likes to talk about that part of it. But when you're young, that's really what's going on there. Like, it's not drinking; it's binge drinking.
Yeah, it's partying.
It's hard drinking, but it's chugging large quantities of alcohol and really just not at all knowing what's going to happen afterwards. And then that sets us up later on in life for like a really weird like way of thinking about drinking, which is like a little at a time and like developing the buzz, which is what most like I think
That's what I do.
What I think of as like a what do you call like a successful drinker is a person who can
functional
learn,
alcoholic,
or just learn.
That's what I like to say.
Well, I mean, it can be alcoholic because the person, but I mean, I think you might be, if you're not drinking for a few days, then I don't know that I would say.
It's been 2 years, bro.
No, trust me though. I'm just saying.
I've gone a day.
I think though, but if you made a choice to do it and you're not like hating life right now, I'd say
I feel
that you're
good.
still short of being what I think of as like a person who can't control it.
Right.
You know, and like I'm just saying, like you
I
just
hear you,
didn't really. That's not really what we're dealing with right now. Like
Chemically,
you'd be sweating and you'd be doing some weird shit.
Oh, dude, I was sweating. Sweating half last night was gnarly. Oh yeah,
No,
dude.
I'm not saying at night. I'm not talking about trying to sleep. I'm talking about just as you're functioning right now.
pretty hardcore.
You're moving around. You're talking. You're doing stuff. You're not focused on it. You're not like dwelling on it. You haven't been like talking about it. You've been talking about other shit.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is and it's good. And then your body does what it does. Some of this is out of like, this has nothing to do with opinion. It's just chemical. Your body gets used to stuff. It does. Everybody's body gets used to whatever they're doing.
Right.
You go try to quit meat after you've been eating meat all the time, you get diarrhea. You try to start meat after you haven't, you get diarrhea.
Right.
You try to, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter, man. Like all of a sudden, dude, you're getting diarrhea until it switches. You start taking some supplements, you probably get some diarrhea. And then your body get used to it.
Go eat it. No, I'm not.
It's still, I think, what kills the most people in the world every year is diarrhea. You know what I mean? Like diarrhea is a real thing. Like it's just like water out.
Gas station burrito.
Water out, boy. That's the best weight loss you can have. Fucking just shitty meal. Once every third meal, you eat a horrible one. And then you just blow your guts out, and that's how you stay. That works till you're about 40. Works till you're about 35.
Yeah. The gas station burrito enema is not what it used to be.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it
still tastes the same.
The thing about a lot of that stuff is like you know, it's not whether or not you get diarrhea from it. It's the fact that it's when. So like you don't eat them when you get older because you could get diarrhea like when you're driving home. When you're younger, you can make it home. But you don't want to be driving, it'll fuck up the podcast when you're driving along trying to listen to something and you gotta like somehow weirdly pinch your cheek. You can't talk to people.
Dude, I saw
a conversation.
I saw a dude on 84. I was going to work and I was like right after Troutdale, go down underneath the railroad track and I come up and there's a car on the shoulder. And dude, there's this guy, I mean, that he was barfing at like 800 psi. Do you know what I mean? Like, I saw like when I saw his neck like snap back, dude, because like the force, the like pressure from dude, the splash. I'm not kidding.
What's going on? Car sick, huh?
I don't know. Yeah, he was the driver, but his head was out. Just like, I mean, bro, it was graphic, dude. And I've seen this a lot. But this one was special.
I like that.
You were special, weirdo puking dude. And you got nothing.
That's good. We need to make sure and give those people a shout out.
You got nothing on status pass? I always fuck this up. Is it status or status?
I think Sadis.
Status pass. Good. My buddy has a story about driving over the mountain pass where he saw this dude who had like his hands on his door of his car with his ass hanging out in the fucking highway, just straight up spraying.
Really?
My bro said he straight up had to swerve to avoid it because it was leaking.
I read a Facebook post today that said somebody saw a parent with their kid at Wilson Park because there's no bathroom, and the kid was shitting in a dog bag.
What? Hold on, back up.
I saw a Facebook post today that said, "Man, they really need to get bathrooms at Wilson Park because I saw a kid shit in a dog bag and a parent like put it in the dog bag square like behind the car."
I think that's genius.
It's fucking brilliant, but unbelievable that it's 2021 and there's no fucking public bathroom. This is. I mean, come on, man.
This is something that pisses me off every day because you know what I do for a living. Like I can't pull over and whip out my shit wherever. Like I
No.
can't just like go to the bathroom, and there's nowhere to go to the bathroom. So eventually, you stop just giving a shit. Like my buddies, me, that's what we do now.
Don't
Like
piss in a fucking
if you
piss
look,
bottle,
that's your
bro.
problem.
Piss in a bottle, dude. Chuck it out the window. That's
Right.
what those piss bottle man, dude. I learned that song in like '98. Oh, piss bottle man. You remember that tune?
No, but I love it.
It's a good one. I'll
Turn
look
it up.
Let's look it up. We'll probably get kicked off. I'll
So
just play it
well,
for
no,
you.
no, no. Is that what's that? Why aren't there bathrooms everywhere? Seriously,
Well, I mean, why
this is
can't
economics.
like why can't they put one like at a park where there's invited kids? Like nothing says you're not invited more than the bathroom's not open.
you know what
like,
they need? You know what they need?
I
What the
don't
solution is?
understand.
You know what the solution is? Because I just thought about it. We need like state of the art bathrooms that can like clean and take care of themselves. So they're like low maintenance. Like when you're done, you walk out. Like as soon as the door shuts behind you, it's just like fucking steam sprays the whole thing or something. You know what I mean? Like
not a bad
some
idea.
self cleaning mechanism where it doesn't require an attendant
Well,
or
I mean,
something.
the sad part is they used to have bathrooms, and then somehow people weren't so like somehow in the world, even people who didn't have shit still got to live somewhere, and so you didn't have to actually not build a structure so someone might try to live in it. So it's like now, like what you can't. Like we fucked it up so bad that it's like I almost don't blame them for not building structures because people will try to move into them.
You're talking
because-
about homeless people moving into bathrooms?
Sure.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you? Like, I mean, it's a city park. I mean, why would you? They lock them? Like, they can't keep them. I mean, fuck, man. At this place, dude. If we have a party here, right, and it's Friday night, and the streets are covered, people walking around like old school days, right, and we have something going on here. That fucker, you leave that door unlocked while we're hanging out back here, and somebody will walk in and have already twice gone in and posted up in the bathrooms and locked the door, dude. You can't get them out. It's just like random people, dude. And like it's happened a couple times. And like, what the fuck, man? Like, there's people. There's too
That's
many,
a conundrum.
there's people who like kind of know their rights, but yet also don't have enough money to live anywhere. Like it's a fucking disaster waiting. It's not even close, dude. Like we ain't even close. Like they just keep pumping out graduates and not rezoning one shred of land. Like it's fucking unbelievable, you know? So like I don't know where it's going, but it's,
So no, wait, I do. The bath. You just
darker.
You just kind of. I think your story actually is the solution.
Letting people live in them.
No, it's
'cause you gotta take care of it,
that
you get away.
No, it's that we need to come up with more clever bathroom solutions, like this woman who put her son's poop into a dog bag.
Right, but I think I could live in a shitter.
No, I mean like
I could live in it. I'll clean it. For
No.
rent. You know what I mean? Like just put an apartment in the back of it.
So what I'm talking
That
about,
solves it too.
what I'm talking about is like one of those folding tents, and it just pops up. And you got like
shit tent.
you got like a bucket and a fucking thing in there or whatever.
It solves a problem, but it just seems kind of like a little bit undignified to shit. I mean, it just seems like we've done better. Like we've made marble and rock and shit. We can just make a shitter. Like I just don't. It's a park, you know. Like if you make a park, you got to have a shitter and what else? Like the grass, no crack needles. Like somebody swing by once in a while, make no
So
insurance
no, you know-
raping anyone.
So I do.
Playground equipment can't murder a kid. I don't know what how
You just you know what?
we don't have a park.
No, you're pointing out
Which-
you're pointing out a problem. It's been probably a huge chronic problem since the beginning of parks.
Right.
So you know me,
Absolutely.
so I play disc golf, right?
Sure.
A lot. So I play all the time, and I always say this because it pisses me off. I'm like, shady motherfuckers always go to parks.
Of course they do.
When I go play
They're
disc,
public
when
places.
I go play disc golf at a park, I usually see more like freaks and crackheads and meth heads than I do disc golfers.
Right.
And they're not playing disc golf like at all. They're just there to like, well, I don't know. There's this one guy who parks his van on hole 17, and there's like a new condom there every day. He throws out of his van. I don't know what he's fucking.
He's
but-
probably just being weird too. Like some.
That's
people
what I was
just
gonna
know-
say. People
they're
just being
voyeurs.
fucking weird. That's what
Being
people
weird.
people
man.
go to fucking parks and get fucking weird. It
Right.
sucks. You know what? Where are the goddamn cops at, man?
Because they have to deal with this.
Oh,
And they know and they also know like that's not the people. That's like when you know.
No, I got the answer to that question. They're pulling over Roman for his
Right.
fucking license plate being too dirty.
Well, no.
Meanwhile, there's a guy shooting crack
like
at your fucking park across
It's just
the
like
street.
my work.
Too much work.
It's just like my work. I watch people walk into the room and they move all their dishes out of their room for the week and they go into the break room and they just put them in the sink and walk out. And I watch them do it. And then I happily avoid that break room until I hear that dishwasher running, which means someone else did those dishes for somebody else. You know, and like just like a cop knows how to avoid an area where it might cause them to have to do a little more work or something. Like everyone knows where that is. Like they know where that is. Like, and like you can't actually not just expose it and say it at a meeting when they're doing jobs like that. And what I'm saying is there's too much privacy when it comes to like just being outright like, hey, that's the crime over there. Let's go look at that place because that's all. So then it comes back to now because they fucked around so long. Now you can't say who's a criminal. Now you're profiling people. So like because they profiled everybody, now you really can't profile anybody. You know what I mean? Like so because they cried wolf too many times. So now nobody's gonna believe you. Now you can't even say like, hey, look at that crazy, super jittery guy that's like he's clearly on drugs. Like maybe he needs help. You should go ask him if he needs a hand with that because he's like standing in the middle of the street with his dick out.
Those guys are taking time bombs.
You can't even say anything about the guy because I mean, but he's like like you said, like some guy. Like I was at a bar one time when another deceased person that used to like to carry an axe with feathers hanging off of it all over town. And just walking around a parking lot with an axe, man. I asked Neil Holsty, like, dude, it's like 2 a.m, man. When I'm like, this giant fight breaks out. I'm trying to drive home. Like, I'm the driver. And I'm just trying to leave. And they won't let anyone leave. And I'm like, hey, Neil, there's a guy over there with no shirt on and a fucking axe. And he's just holding it, like, kind of swinging it around, like, while everyone talks. Like, that's so weird. Like, we're at a bar, like, at a public place. Like, that's normal? And he's like, that's blah, 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 blah. Like, said his name, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that's like not even funny at all. Like the only person in that group that had ever shot at anyone or murdered anyone in that group was either those two. And here I am going, hey, let me out of here.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? Like, let me out of here. You guys are all nuts.
And then
like,
if you're not involved with your community too, you don't really know who the time bombs are and who's not. Like, there's that dude who wandered.
I was
there's
asking
that
him
dude.
why he didn't mention it to him. Like, he was scared of him.
There's that dude that wanders around here in White Salmon. He wears like, it was like 85 degrees out the other day. He's wearing a stocking cap and like all black. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't spend
This
much time
guy
over there,
like,
though.
no, this guy like, he's in Hood River too. He'll be like in the middle of the fucking road. Like he'll hitchhike,
Right.
but he'll like, he'll literally lunge in front of your car when you drive by. And I always, every day I'm like, one of these days.
I don't understand. There's no system.
You want to be nice to this guy, but you're like, one of these days, this dude's a ticking time bomb.
There's no system. People think there's somewhere between jail and help. There's nothing.
No, there's been like
There's nothing. Like we took him away because, like I said, we considered him bad. We had sanitariums and all kinds of things.
Yeah,
like,
so I was gonna say, like back in like,
well, you can't send people to that horror film. And you're like, okay, so living out in the middle of, on the streets, on the fucking streets, that's better.
yeah, on the motherfucking street.
So like, I don't understand, man. Like both sides seem to be working together. Like it's like I said, the fucking cocksucking local assholes that won't let any cell tower. What do you need the internet for? Are working together with the fucking hippies. We don't want to look at the cell towers. They're like opposites, but they both fuck me over. With everything, whether it's the amphitheater, we don't want no damn music around here, or we don't want the pristine woods that we just moved to 2 years ago from New Jersey to be fucked with. And they're together on everything that fucks things up. And so that's why things are fucked up. It isn't because of conservatives. It's the fucking fake ass recycling and the fake ass shit. We're 5% of the fuck. We're none of the pollution. We do nothing to the world. Realistically? In any way. I have no idea. We're the least racist. We're the only country that takes anybody in.
Who's
America.
we though? Yeah,
America.
That's
Canada doesn't let you. You can't go to Canada.
It's a big
can't
country.
You know how many Japan? You know how many people net migration to Japan is in the last 50 years? 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's probably not like the same opportunities there. That
Japan?
Well, I don't know. Is there opportunities to work there? Like, could I
They
go
don't
there and
allow
make a
people to
bunch of
move
money?
there.
Well, good for them, man. I don't know.
Nobody does. Nobody allows anybody to move there. You have to fill out an application that says you're worth something. Canada, you can't even go there if you owe child support. Like you can't. Every country but ours has high stipulations on what people can live.
And I was
going
gonna
to
say though, like
you can't just move to New Zealand. You have to have a degree.
There's crusty bros like that crusty bro. There was those crusty bros been around since like ever, like medieval times. Like there was crusty bros all over the place. Like
yeah, they're called hobos. They used to live at the mouth of the Hood River when I was a kid.
Right. There's
Big
gonna
deal.
be crusty bros, dude, for miles, dude.
And forever.
Dude, but see, we were talking about like how I was saying, like mentioning like some of them are ticking time bombs,
Sure.
and then some of them are just super nice.
Most of them
And-
aren't
and
time bombs.
at
Like, you
first-
know.
At first glance, you wouldn't really know. You kind of have to get to know them.
Right.
So, like when I lived in Portland, check this out. So, like my front window, my living room window, just faced 72nd Avenue, and I lived on 72nd and Gleason. Okay.
Sure. I know.
So like you could walk up to my front window of my house, and like if I walked up to it, the window would probably come up to my chest,
sure.
about right here, and you could just look directly into my house. So I moved into this place, and I woke up one morning, and I went into my living room, and I was tired as shit, and I was going to my fucking kitchen. I lifted my head up, and there's this huge, I'm talking like 6.5 foot tall, 300-pound black dude, bald, just looking right at me in my windows. Now, at first glance, you'd think, this guy's here to kill me. He's the nicest guy in the world. He just wanted cans. I ended up forming a relationship with this dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? I let him know where my cans are.
Right.
He was the nicest dude anywhere in town.
Right.
But that's what I mean. Like, first glance, you'd be like, that guy, maybe that
Right.
guy's trouble. So, if you put him side by side with that dude wandering around here,
Right.
yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Well, we got a guy that keeps our back cleaned out real well for us. Like we have one guy that comes here and wants the cans from here, and we give them to him. We have for 7 years. Same guy, and he takes care of it. He for the most part, makes sure that everything's picked up and stuff, and he does a good job, and he gets the cans. And I don't know what else
Boom.
to do.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Right.
I don't understand what the big deal is.
No,
I
it's
have
no big deal.
idea. I mean,
There's
you know
no
what I
big
mean?
deal. No, that's what I was trying
know
to say.
you weren't
like-
making one. I'm just saying, as
oh,
a
yeah,
culture,
totally. Yeah.
people are dead set on fucking just figuring that out somehow. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, they'll figure it out, but what we really need is some fucking places so they can take a shit while they're figuring it out. Are you
Right.
crazy? And so it's all on corporate play, Safeway, their employees got to shit somewhere, and they got to make it an area where they can shit, and then that opens up for public because they want people to shit, and then people are basically waiting in line every morning to shit in there. And I mean, I don't know if you've been ever tried to take a piss in Rosars at 8 a.m., dude, but it is dangerous around there. I don't know if it's the employees or what, but I never smelled shit like that, bro. People need to get their colons figured out. It ain't supposed to smell like that, dude. It's dangerous. There's just some vagabond shit.
I see what you're saying.
Man, it's just a mix of 9 dudes. Or McDonald's early in the morning.
Right.
It's dangerous, dude. And I just see people boring in they don't notice. And that's why I see the Mad Max coming out. And I'm there's just people making $80 an hour doing construction, just boring in there, dude. Just boring in, take a big dump right next to 3 homeless guys and some Chinese tourist. It's incredible, dude. And they're just boring in there. They can't smell it. I go in there, dude. My eyes are watering. I'm just trying to pee real quick. And it's crazy, dude. I'm man, you guys are dedicated.
Right.
I don't know, it's a level of dedication for the youth today.
You just reminded me
How
of,
they gonna make it, man?
This reminded me of
It's heavy.
the movie California.
Oh yeah, I love
when
that. That's a
when
good
Brad
one.
Pitt kills that dude in the bathroom, and when David Duchovny wants to go in there, he's like, "Oh no, man, it's wall to wall stink in there."
Yeah, dude. Yeah, crooked eye going in that one hard. Yeah, that's good shit. Dude.
Wall to wall stink. That's a good
Awesome,
one.
dude. Yeah.
No, that's fucked up. See, here's the thing. You just mentioned that. I don't know. People do what they got to do. Everybody has different lives, and everybody makes decisions in their lives. I don't use public bathrooms.
No, but
Dude, I'm serious.
Right.
Fucking ever. I do.
Right.
If I'm in a fucking bar, I'll take a fucking leak because I have to,
right.
and I'm drunk,
Sure.
or whatever.
Sure.
But dude, I'll fucking hold it, or I will fucking. I'm not kidding you. Pull over on the side of the road, and I do this. I'll run out into the fucking woods.
What? Did I take a shit?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
piss. Well, I mean,
yeah.
if I
Fuck yeah, it's nature, dude.
no, I'm saying, I mean, I've shit in the woods plenty of times. Don't get me wrong, but
I did
mean,
like last week.
right. But I'm saying is it doesn't present. Wouldn't present me as many times as I would need to shit. Probably that I would
Timing
need
is
to. But
everything.
when you're working on the road all the time, then just about everything's gonna come up.
Yeah, I
You
won't
know.
go. So I actually went into a pub. I just after I said that, I thought about it. I actually took a leak at Five Guys the last time I was there.
But I would
I
say
forgot about
I
that.
generally don't eat when I'm doing like when I worked for Buckley doing that same day stage. I did some deliveries in Portland, did some pickups,
shit.
like 7 places or something in Portland. Like bam, 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 bam. It was pretty nasty. But that kind of play, you can't piss anywhere. There's nowhere to piss, dude. And like
Fuck
you want
that.
to, you got to go, dude. And like it's like fucking, it's like baby UPS or something. Like I don't know where they piss, dude. Like you know what I mean? Like I just don't get it. Like people aren't even nice enough. Like you know how many people are driving around? Like it's the largest profession in America, driving.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand why there's nowhere to piss. Like, how is it not the government's job to make places for people to piss and shit? Like,
Well,
I
and we-
don't understand what kind of fucked up society would you argue against me? What kind of fuck up would pay for military guns and not a shitter?
yeah,
Like, what kind of fucking idiot would think that's a better way to spend
it
your
sounds
money?
like we got a new subject for to push onto our local
What, shitters?
officials. Yeah, getting public
I don't even.
restrooms.
I can't bring up shit civilly that's obvious. Like I can't even have discussions with other adults in a reasonable way that are obvious. Like, what are you saying when you don't want to put a bathroom in? You're saying you don't want that person around, and I'm saying fuck you. That's like people that say they like their dog better than people. Man, that's the most pathetic form of treason I've ever heard of in my life. That is treasonous against your species. What the fuck, man? I don't give a fuck if you don't like people. Learn to like people. Or fucking go jump off a fucking cliff. But you're not helpful. You know what I mean? Making more weird breeds that can't even fucking move. That's not helpful. And it's a glaring reflection of your inability to function around other people and to be versatile or kind or empathetic or loving in any way. You can't really be empathetic to a fucking animal that would eat you if you died. Like you're a fucking fool if you think that's empathy. Empathy means
But it's so cute.
empathy means you got to listen to other people you don't like and you have to put yourself in their fucking shoes. And then you go, "Oh, okay, now maybe I understand. Even though I don't agree with them, I still understand where they're coming from." And then you might learn. We're signing off right there.
Are you gonna go to bed?
We're signing off. Well, no.
He can feel
Signing
it. I'm
off.
like, dude.
No, dude, we're right there, dude. It's too.
So
Oh,
tired.
look.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
I know. That's what we're going for.
I'm so tired.
Fucking money.
I think
Money.
I'm feeling sweaty.
I mean, I'm gonna go. You're at a time where you have a pattern, so you just have to fulfill the pattern with something else. You just have when you have a pattern, you're like, oh yeah, my pattern. What
Oh,
did I do?
I've got.
What did I do last time? Oh yeah. You got any? You
LaCroix.
got any? You should get some of those CBD drinks.
I thought about that.
Just because you know why? Not because there's anything in them, but it's just psychosomatic.
I was just gonna say.
It's like I'm drinking
it's
something
all-
that's got something in it.
It's all psychological. That's why I drink LaCroix. So I just said 2 years. So 2 years